7 million people are using English across the country. They will have done a collaborative research on that of the English language is about the why English has become the global language. English was invented, coined, or known to the world in 5th century AD only, 460 AD. The people of Anglo and Saxon, the tribes of British Islands were using a country called English, then it has become English. See, the number of Anglo-Saxon people were limited in thousands. Those days, English was the language of the working class in England. English was not the language of the mainstream. French was the language of the royal class, ruling class. Sophisticated sections of the society, they were using French in England. In England, where English was born. But now, if you look at the status and spread of English language, it has become one of the 5 major global world foreign languages. So it has been one of the powerful expressions in terms of languages. The reason is users, only reason is users. Why Indian languages, which were born much before English, they stand again, still they stand as the regional language, sub-regional languages, Dravidian languages, and semi-regional languages. The reason is users. Almost look at the status of Sanskrit language. What happened to Sanskrit? When the users are limited in number, because of geographical constraint, the language has become regional and vernacular languages. And UNESCO talks about 5 categories: vulnerable languages, almost vulnerable, not at all. They are at the edge. 81 vulnerable languages are there in the country. And definitely endangered. There is definite, severely, critically endangered. 53, 6, best 42. The 3 categories are endangered languages. Coming to extinct after 1950, 5 languages almost disappeared. See, 197 languages are there. We talked about how languages are being endangered, disappearing from the human existence. It is not an easy thing. UNO has made a resolution. Yajava, the tribe Yajava is disappearing from the globe. They have taken this thing, care and all, preventive measures. Now we have this. This is the status of the endangered languages. We must be careful. Having a different language, unfortunately, yes, these days ICSSR is giving a lot of importance to the research done on tribal languages. Narva community, Goya, Tintu, and Naga, different communities, Northeastern states, and even Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. ICSSR has been giving, recently they have given the project on family system and PBTs. So that what is the intention of the central government in this context is they want to protect the languages, and by doing a lot of research and all, even government funding is high to such languages these days. Research is invented. That is why these days I have reduced 10 PhDs under my supervision. One of the recent candidates who joined, I asked him to do research on tribal languages in respect to the English language. So the researchers and students, scholars who are here, you may have a lot of scope and potentiality doing research, cultural impact, linguistic impact, and social impact in terms of their culture, civilization, and all. And there is an urgent need of the hour to look at the endangered languages and tribal languages. Otherwise, and we would say in the future, once India was a multilingual country, Yes, that is why. See, in our Nalamala forest, most of the tribal people, they are fighting. Recently, yesterday, Dr. Balu Naik was talking about the split of the tribal language, Banjara language. Some of the scholars and the teachers and even our own professors are trying to find out and trying to put it in the right tune. give me the script for the tribal language. It is the need of human. Otherwise, what happens when literacy is not developed, when they focused, when they were still marginalized, they do not have the link with the mainstream, the languages will be endangered. Yes, this is, it is not my own status. I have taken it from the one of the reliable sources available on public domain. And language policy. Yes, of course. My thing is, my presentation is not talking about the language policy. Mine is language. Languages are the bridges, not the barriers. It's very known concept only. In order to support my argument, in order to support my point, my idea, I tried my level best to take many aspects of the language policies, how the medium of instruction in LEP 1968. 64 and 66, we have Pottery Commission. After the Pottery Commission recommendations, the first national policy on education was formulated. That was happened in 1968. Then we have 1986 Rajiv Gandhi government. Before that, we have Pottery Commission report. After Pottery Commission story I am talking about, here I have taken the first education commission, the latest education commission. Probably it was the first, 1968 was the first education commission. Pottery Commission is not the commission confronted on any problem. It was a comprehensive education commission that looked at all aspects of the country from primary school, medium school, and high school and university level. That was a comprehensive education commission, not confined to any other aspect of any other level of the education. The language policies, NEP is the centrally in place, but it areas NEP 2020 flexibly, local terms. Three language formula was the region in 68 and 86 policy, but coming to NEP 20 flexibly. And coming to language reposition is the implicit 68 and 86 explicitly rejected. See, in order to reiterate the many second version of opinions over NEP 2020 regarding the language policy, I have taken this slide. My intention, my idea of highlighting is without reading NEP 2020, always we try to come to a conclusion that NEP 2020 central government policy is against to English. No, it is not against to English. It never said. No sentence was written in English. They said primary education from 5th to 8th, the medium of instruction may be carried in regional medium, mother tongue, so that the students may understand. That doesn't mean that English is not there. English is there. They have given a lot of creativity. Now, if you look at, it's not, very scientific or very watertight compartmental type of things. NASA scientists, I have read it in one of the leading newspapers. Most of the NASA scientists, A and B category scientists, now they have studied in their own medium during their school days. Now you tell me, how can we say that studying in mother tongue in the primary school that doesn't mean, again I'm telling you, that it doesn't mean that you are against to English. No. They are telling that learning, teaching in the local medium that enhances the strengthens the students' creativity and all. That doesn't mean that avoiding English or English not part and all. Sometimes document is one type and our own secondary opinion and interpretation would be different. The way we look at, the way we have the lens we carry, the lens we see, that makes the matter to understand the different policies. If you have a different policy, you may have this. Yes. Coming to this again, it is an extension to the previous slide. Yes. Coming to 2011 census, Hindi 43%, Bengali 8.03%, Marathi 6.86%, Portuguese 6.70%. The people, the users. And endangered languages, 197 endangered languages. Yes, 197 endangered languages in India according to UNESCO. This is the statistical data according to Census 2011. Again, it is available in public domain. I have taken this also from available public sources, not taken any other secondary material from the government document available on internet, available in the public domain, the available sources. Yes. Now, I have given a lot of information to strengthen my argument how languages have not become the barriers, they are the bridges in the multilingual country like India. Now, I will try to take your attention to the spirit of the country, the constitutional spirit, the values. We walk, we read, we stood, we stand, we go, because under the direction of the constitutional values. Once we look at every country, we are boosted by their constitutional spirit. You cannot go away from the philosophy, the core values of the country. Ours is democratic country. Do you agree? Yes, all of it. Ours is democratic country, ours is republic country, ours expression of the constitution. Yes. So now here I want to yeah. Yeah. Is it speaker on it? Okay. The Indian Constitution recognizes language, linguistic diversity, language plurality, linguistic diversity is a common fact. Yes. Now, respecting the language. Languages are giving and taking type of thing, looking at to seek the balance of national unity, regional linguistic identity, and the third one is minority rights. And no language is imposed as the only language in the country. No language. Not possible in the country. Yes. 6,100 coastal line. India is too long from north to pole to south. Now from possible. These are in part. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Not possible having one language across the country. Looks like only one language, but even the parliament proceedings, most of the times, though our language, national official language is Hindi, every government order, every government procedure will be translated or written or published in English language. We know that. The constitutional spirit, talking about constitutional spirit, I must take your attention to this slide talking about language policy under Article 343, the language policy of the Indian government. Hindi in Devanagari script is our language, we know, and English is continued for the official purpose for more than for the first 15 years, then again and again it has been extended because of the needs of the country. In order to sustain the spirit of multilingualism in the country, it is noted. Coming to 351 is also very important because promotion of Hindi. In order to look at the number of the users, that doesn't mean that monopoly of Hindi. No. Maybe without knowing the statistical data, previous slide I have shown you, most of the users are Hindi. Next time, the ratio, based on the ratio, you will distribute, will take the decision. So looks like Hindi is a dominated country. Not, it is not like domination, it is promotion of Hindi because the looking at the different aspects given in the country and the population present in the country, and Hindi is promoted in the constitution under Article 351. And I have given you constitutional spirit, constitutional values in terms of multilingualism, and I also have given you official language and the status of Hindi and English. And this slide talks about the minorities, talking about linguistic rights based on languages. Article 29 talking about the protection of interest of minorities in order to preserve their language, their culture, minority institution can be established. This shows the spirit, democratic spirit, and constitutional values. It promotes the linguistic harmony in the country. Talking to 30 education institutions. 29 talking about importance of culture, language, and all. 30 talks about linguistic based on the linguistic variation, linguistic demands, establishing the education system. Here, particularly, I must give you the 8th schedule of the Constitution. How 22 languages have been become the important languages. The language list, extended list, recent edition. Altogether, we have 22 languages in the schedule. It talks about political and cultural legitimacy for the language. In order to provide cultural legitimacy, political legitimacy, geographical legitimacy, this has been formulated. This is also one of the important aspects in the discussion, like multilingual country, how India has been become a multilingual country, and how languages are bridges, not the language, in a multilingual setup. And provisions, almost all the provisions of the country prevents linguistic domination. Who are you? Who sometimes we have sorry, it is in the dominated. No, not at all. Our constitution is not permitted. India is well known for linguistic harmony since the beginning. That is why we cannot understand it in a different way. And a cooperative federalism, political aspect, we do federalism is not the right power from central state and concurrent list. We know education in the concurrent list. Separate subjects have been divided and protecting the linguistic minorities at their right and a multilingual democracy. And the last one is NDP 2020 and promoting, focusing, and you see the holistic development of the children through other. Again, I'm reiterating, it is not against English or any other language. Promoting the language, promoting, teaching the mother tongue, that doesn't mean that it is against any other linguistic aspect. And before coming to the conclusion, I try to give you an overview, try to make your attention on quaternary condition, which was known as the Constitution of Education in the country, almost before NEP 2020. And if you compare India as a computer system, the defaulted program in the computer system is quaternary condition. If you open the computer system like India, default program is the quaternary condition, developing the quaternary, DS quaternary. And I've given a lot of good number of recommendations, suggestions, and how English has become part of the education system now. Just every point requires a lot of time. I don't want to take much of time. Language is little bit course, not diverse one. Education is found, culturally inclusive, politically integrative. Language policy must ensure national integration, regional linguistic identity, and finally, multilingual democracy. I must give you very important understanding and of Indian totality in order to sum up this discussion of on this. Language should be united minds, not divide the regions. To unite the minds of the people, not dividing the regions. Regional differences are not possible because our language, the force of the language is unite. And becoming the multilingual importance is, as my talk concentrates on multilingual aspects. Multilingualism always gives you a lot of benefits, education importance, then cognitive, social, cultural importance, and even economic importance. The prosperity of the country is possible through quality education, that is curriculum. Yes, curriculum has to be strengthened. Curriculum has to be understood. Curriculum has to be reached. It has to fill the gap. And now there are lot of gaps between classroom and real life, classroom and society, classroom and market, classroom and outside the classroom. It has to be interrogated. It has to be debated. Curriculum has to see. The imprint of South African president building, there is a famous slogan, there is a signboard saying that If you want to destroy any nation, no need to throw bombs on it. Simply neglect the curriculum. Automatically, the nation will fall down. This is the power of the curriculum. Curriculum has to be strengthened. NEP, through their comprehensive understanding, I don't want to touch upon the ideological aspects of NEP. NEP have done a lot of groundwork and have seen in order to protect the linguistic diversity and in order to protect the spirit of the federalism, it was formulated. And before giving conclusion, once again, I want to reiterate Noam Chomsky, a famous scholar, social linguist, and who is responsible for transformative generative grammar and universal grammar theory and language acquisition device and that all. He asked about the language. Language is a set of sentences, each finite in length and constructed of finite set. That means limited number of words should express unlimited number of sentences, and each sentence should be well knit and manageable depth, manageable length. Language for communication. Languages, any language should not remain as a language, as a structure. They should fulfill the function of the communication as the primary function of the language for communication. With this, we can understand that Indian Constitution does not impose linguistic monopoly. It encourages linguistic diversity in multilingual spirit. Through diversity and inclusivity is ensured, and language is treated in the country as a cultural right, and administrative tool, and democratic resource. That is why we need to understand that languages are the bridge, not the barriers. They are the bridges. Having more languages in a larger country like India is a boon, not a bane. With this spirit, we try to understand linguistic harmony has to be protected, linguistic diversity has been understood in the right spirit. Thank you very much.
You want to ask any questions, Chetan? Is there anybody?
నా పేరు చంద్రశేఖర్ పరిచయం కొద్దిగా ఆలస్యం వచ్చాను మీ పేరు ఒకటి మీరు భారతదేశ ఆశయాన్ని మీ నోటి ద్వారా విన్నాను భారత రాజ్యాంగం ఇవన్నీ మీరు నిజంగా ఉన్నాయంటే లింగ్విస్టిక్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ భాష సమీకరణ భారతదేశంలో ఉంటే తమిళనాడులో ఇంతవరకు హిందీ యాక్సెప్ట్ చేశారు. దాంతో పాటు ఏంటంటే జవహర్ నవోదయ విద్యాలయం దాంట్లో కంపల్సరీగా హిందీ చెప్పాలంటే వాళ్ళు ఎంతవరకు డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ స్కూల్ అయితే ఇంతవరకు డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ స్కూలే తీసుకుంటారు. రెండోది పాపులేషన్ చూస్తే నేను భారతదేశం అంటే సంఖ్య నమ్మను. సారీ టు సే ఎందుకంటే నేను మనం ఓటర్ లిస్ట్ చూసాం అది కాబట్టి ఏంటంటే రెండోది ఇప్పటికీ ఛత్తీస్గఢ్ ప్రత్యేక భాష కావాలని ప్రత్యేక ఉద్యమాలు జరుగుతున్నాయి. ఇప్పుడు ఒకవేళ ఒక భాష ఒకే రాష్ట్రంలో ఉంటుందంటే హిందీ ఏ రాష్ట్రంలో వాటన్నిటిని కూడా ఒకే రాష్ట్రంలో పెట్టడానికి అవకాశం ఉంది. రెండోది ఒకవేళ హిందీ మీరు భాష గురించి చెప్పారు, ఇంగ్లీష్ 5th century వచ్చిందని అన్నారు. ఓకే, సంస్కృతం అందుకంటే 1000 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి ఉంది. అప్పుడు హిందీ యొక్క వయసు ఎంత? తెలుగు వినడానికి హిందీ దేశంలో ఉన్నటువంటి భాషలో వస్తే హిందీ వయసు ఎంత? హిందీ ప్రమోషన్ కోసం ఖర్చు పెట్టిన అమౌంట్ ఎంత? మిగిలిన భారతదేశంలో ఖర్చు పెట్టేది ఎంత? మీరు 580 లక్షలు సంథింగ్ చెప్పారు. అది ఎంతవరకు ఇలాంటి బేసిక్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అంటే మనం గట్టిగా మాట్లాడుతుంది కానీ ఇంతమంది టైం వేస్ట్ నేను అనుకుంటాను. నా అభిప్రాయం చెప్తాను, మీరు నమ్మచ్చు అది లేదు. మన ఆశయాలు చెప్పండి.
Thank you, sir. Sir, again, questions. These are very fundamental. Like sometimes the way we
భారతదేశంలో అంటే భారతదేశంలో questions కానీ ఏవైనా కానీ వాటిలో ఎన్ని పదాలు ఉన్నాయి మిగిలిన జన్యులు భాష మెయిన్ ఓకే
ఇక్కడ సెట్
Yes, I got it. I got it.
సెట్ చేసేస్తుంది.
సార్ చెప్పిన త్రీ థింగ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఫస్ట్ వన్ లింగ్విస్టిక్ హార్మోనీ, భాషా సామరస్యత ఉన్నదా లేదా? ఫస్ట్ వన్. సి బట్ ఫిలాసఫీ ఆఫ్ ఎనీ కంట్రీ ఈస్ బిగ్గర్. డెఫినెట్లీ మస్ట్ బి బిగ్గర్. భారతదేశం సంబంధించినంత వరకు భారతదేశంలో ఉన్నటువంటి భాషల మధ్య హార్మోనీ సామరస్యత ఉండాలి అనేది భారత విధానపరమైన నిర్ణయం. భారత రాజ్యాంగ స్ఫూర్తి కూడా అదే ఉంది. ఆచరణలోకి వచ్చినప్పుడు మీరు చెప్పినట్టు ఫ్రిక్షన్ ఎదురవుతున్నటువంటి మాట వాస్తవం. ఆ ఫ్రిక్షన్ ని ఓవర్కమ్ చేయడం కోసం 1956 నుంచి 69, 70 దాకా ఇంటర్ స్టేట్ చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్స్ మీటింగ్ జరిగినవి. ఇంటర్ రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రుల సమావేశం. అందులో మీరు చెప్పింది వాస్తవం. ప్రతిసారి తమిళనాడు వాళ్ళు హిందీ వద్దు, తమిళ ముద్దు అని నినాదం ఉన్నది. వాళ్ళు అంతేకాదు హిందీ భాష యొక్క మోనోపతికి వ్యతిరేకంగా, ఏకఛత్రాధిపత్య వ్యతిరేకంగా స్టూడ్ అగేన్స్ట్ ది హిందీ లాంగ్వేజ్ అండ్ ఆల్. మనం ఈ విషయాన్ని నేను ఫిలాసఫికల్ గా భారత విధానపరంగా చెప్పడానికి ఒక అకాడమిక్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ లో అకాడమిక్ డిస్కషన్ చెప్పాలనే ఉద్దేశంతో నేను చెప్పినటువంటి పాయింట్ ఏంటి అంటే, భాషల మధ్య సారూప్యత, భాషల మధ్య సామరస్యత సాధించడం అనేది ఇండియా లాంటి కంట్రీకి అవసరం. ఎక్కడైతే ఫ్రిక్షన్ ఉందో, ఎక్కడైతే హిందీ మొనోపలి బడ్జెట్ పరంగా కానీ, హిందీ రాష్ట్రాలకు పొందిన బడ్జెట్ పరంగా నుంచి అలొకేషన్స్ దాకా వివక్షత మాట ఉన్న మాట నిజమే. అది నేను చెప్పేది కాదు. అనేక చట్టసభల్లో ఆయా రాష్ట్రాల ముఖ్యమంత్రులు అందరూ ఉంచేది మా దగ్గర నుంచి కేటాయింపులు వెళ్ళేది మీ దగ్గర దాకా. వచ్చేయేమో మాది, పోయేయేమో మీకు అనే నినాదం ఎప్పటి నుంచో ఉన్నది. కానీ భారత రాజ్యాంగం అట్లా చెప్పట్లేదు చెప్పడం నా ఉద్దేశం తప్ప, భారత ప్రభుత్వం ఆచరణలో ఏ విధంగా చేస్తుంది అని చెప్పడం ఉద్దేశం కాదు. ఇది విధానపరమైన అకాడమిక్ డిస్కషన్ గా చూడాల్సిన సందర్భంలో నేను దీని గురించి మాట్లాడాను. దీని గురించి వేరే విషయాలు ఇంకేమైనా మాట్లాడాలనుకుంటే నేను కాన్ఫరెన్స్ తర్వాత మాట్లాడాను. చెప్పిన సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటి? ఫస్ట్ సెకండ్ కన్సిడర్ చేశాను. లాస్ట్ ది ఏమన్నా సరే లాస్ట్
ఈవెన్ పేర్లు కూడా పెట్టే పేర్లు కానీ స్లీప్స్
సార్, ఇది సౌత్ నార్త్ సౌత్ డైలాగ్ అనేది ప్రపంచంలో ఎవ్రీవేర్ ద నార్త్ అండ్ సౌత్ డైలాగ్ ఇస్ predominantly famous. Go to America. Recently, I read a book maybe a year ago. North and South dialogue. South is always narcissist. South is always concerned.
పేపర్
It's not political or regional. అమెరికా కూడా దక్షిణాది రాష్ట్రాల్లో నల్ల జాతీయులు ఎక్కువ ఉంటారు. కంపారిటివ్లీ ప్రాస్పెరిటీ చూసినప్పుడు ప్రాస్పెరిటీ ఉత్తరాది రాష్ట్రాలకు ప్రాధాన్యత ఉంటుంది. ఉత్తరాది రాష్ట్రాల యొక్క సంస్కృతి, ఉత్తరాది రాష్ట్రాల యొక్క జీవన విధానం దక్షిణాది రాష్ట్రాలపైన ఉండటం, అది వియత్నాం, కొరియా, దక్షిణ అమెరికా, లాటిన్ అమెరికా, అమెరికా, ఇండియాలో కూడా దక్షిణాది రాష్ట్రాల పైన తప్పనిసరిగా సౌత్ తల్లి ప్రేమ అనేది పెద్ద చూస్తుంది అనేది ఇది నార్త్ సౌత్ డైలాగ్ లో ఉన్నది, ఇక్కడ ఉన్నది. కానీ as the responsible citizen of the country, what I am expecting, the spirit of the constitution, what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in his soul of the preamble, called soul of the preamble says, we the people of the country, we have adopted మనకు మనంగా దీన్ని అర్పించుకుంటున్నాం లిబర్టీ ఫ్రెటర్నిటీ అని చెప్పడం కోసం చెప్పాను తప్ప, ఇది హిందీ సమానమైన స్థాయిలో ఉన్నదని, దక్షిణ రాష్ట్రాల భాషలు కూడా సమాన స్థాయిలో ఉన్నాయని చెప్పి నా ఉద్దేశం. డెఫినెట్ గా ఇండియాలో ఆ ఉన్నటువంటి ఫిక్షన్ ను చేయాల్సిన బాధ్యత ఉంది. అందుకే కొంతమంది మేధావులు ఇప్పటికే ఈ దారిని సాధించడం కోసం హైదరాబాద్ లో 2వ రాజధానిగా చేయాల్సిన క్యాపిటల్ గా చేసినప్పుడు రాకపోకలు ఎక్కువైతుంటాయి. దానివల్ల మనకి ఎక్స్చేంజ్ జరుగుతుంది. సో దట్ ఈవెన్ సౌత్ ఇండియన్ లాంగ్వేజెస్ దే కెన్ ఇంప్రూవ్ లైక్ నార్త్ ఇండియన్ లాంగ్వేజ్ అండ్ దే కెన్ కాంపిటేట్ లైక్ ఎనీ అదర్ నేషనల్ లాంగ్వేజ్. ఇది కేవలం అకాడమిక్ సెమినార్ లో చేసే డిస్కషన్ కాదు సార్. డెఫినెట్ గా మీ ఐడియా నాకు అర్థమైంది. కాలేజీలో ఉంటారు కాబట్టి మీరు వచ్చినప్పుడు ఖచ్చితంగా నేను మాట్లాడుతాను. Confined to this talk, it is I have my own ideas and views about various aspects, but as it is an academic conference and seminar, I try to confine to interpret every aspect in terms of the document edited 2020 in the light of the theme of the academic theme of the conference. ఇంకా ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే ఐ ట్రై టు మై లెవెల్ బెస్ట్. నేను చెప్పేది ఆన్సర్ సమాధానం మీకు నచ్చవచ్చు, సాటిస్ఫై కాకపోవచ్చు కూడా. ఈ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ కాబట్టి అదే ఆన్సర్ కావాలని రూల్ ఏమి లేదండి. ఎస్, థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్. ఓకే,
Thank you so much. And we have got a lot of issues from totally functions to and thank you so much. And he's our well-wisher, not only personally but the department on that. So thank you so much. And we have a small presentation for you after the. Okay. Okay. Now.
చాలా టైం ఇప్పుడు ఒకళ్ళు చెప్తున్నారు, వాళ్ళ తర్వాత మేడం ఇప్పుడు మేడం ఒకసారి చెప్తాను మేడం అంట జస్ట్ లింక్ పెట్టు ఆన్ అయితే
Our next speaker is the Associate Professor at Center for Applied Linguistics and Translation Studies, School of Humanities, University of Hyderabad. He completed his PhD and MPhil on spoken and written English communication, MA in English, B.Ed in English, and postgraduate diploma in teaching of English. His research areas on ELT, pedagogy, translation studies. He is also a member of various academic committees. Now I invite Dr. Nagaraju Manglister to deliver his talk. Give a big round of applause.
అదే ప్లీనరీ చేసుకుని డిస్కషన్ మ్యామ్ అని చెప్తారు. to Department of Personal Motivation for the whole issue for the meeting and what's the I have presented my paper yesterday.
Presentations, madam. Sharma sir. Yeah.
మేడం కొట్టినా నిన్న అది అడుగుతున్నా ఫోన్ నెంబర్ లాగబట్టలేదు సార్, లాగ దీనికి వస్తుంది.
First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Osmania garu, Dr. Swati garu, and Dr. Sunil garu, and the Sushi garu, and the for the invitation to this conference. First of all, I'm very lucky to have my talk now because maximum points have been covered before my presentation. పెన్ను చెప్పాలంటే తవ వాడిలో వేడిలో ఉంది. ఇంతకు ముందు మనం ఒక చిన్న డిస్కషన్ చూసాము, చాలా వేడిగా అనిపించింది నాకైతే. ఎందుకంటే నేను చెప్పబోయే అంశం కూడా అలాంటివి అనమాట. నాకు అనిపించింది చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా జవాబులు చెప్పాలి. ఓకే, ఎనీవే. సో the title of my talk is Indian languages promote fraternity, support unity, and offer indigenous knowledge. I'm going to look at 3 points in my presentation. How do Indian languages promote fraternity, support unity, and offer indigenous knowledge? There are the 3 points that I'm going to touch upon.
చేస్తావా ఇప్పుడు ఇంత టైం ఉంటే చేస్తాను
Last one, no, that we know. Previous speaker also talked about that. India is a multilingual country, and there are many people who can speak many languages, more than one. And we have scheduled languages and non-scheduled languages, and we have many dialects. So regarding languages, I think the country which has a variety of languages, that is India, Bharat. So in this situation, and in this technological era, especially when we talk about India, that is Bharat, we talk about Bharat. I am not going to talk about some theories or linguistic theories, any other thing, but I am going to share my observations, my ideas, which are related to this title. By including some, by looking at some recent incidents which are happening about languages. Generally, this is not something which is new, but it is only just we think about it once again. That's all I would say that. But my presentation is like that. So when we talk about brotherhood, we talk about, this, for example, let us take a small example like our conference. Speakers come from different universities, different institutes to give a talk here. When organizers go down, or when organizer receives happily by smiling or by hugging or by giving shake hands, by wishing or greeting namaste and other thing, then they feel, oh, I have come to my department. Yes, I have come to my own department. That feeling is there. In our family, at the same time, when we invite or when we see guests from outside coming to our house, the thing that we offer to them, the way we talk to them, okay, the time we spend with them, it gives a lot of value. So then people will feel that, okay, yes, they are respecting us, they are receiving us. Okay. People expect mutual respect. Even when we just talk about our own family, mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, and children, and many others, there also we expect a mutual respect. When somebody has some issue, some problem, and other person or a elder one, or he or she comes to that person and understand the issues and solves the issues, then he or she can feel, okay, my brother, yes, my sister, yeah, my father, my aunt, my uncle, my grandfather. So that belongingness, it is already there in our family, it is already there in our society. The same thing
when it comes to languages. The same thing when it comes to languages. Let me give a small example that my own example I will give you. I was in Bangalore for about 16 and a half years. In the initial stage, when I went to Bangalore, I didn't know Kannada. Kannada was not my mother tongue. My mother tongue is Telugu. Then at the workplace where I work, and we had speakers from Hindi, Urdu, and Kannada. And as part of my academic duty, I used to teach the subject in English language. But when I come back to my house, that time when I could see the people who are native speakers of Karnataka. So initially, I used to speak, I take the advantage of Hindi and English. The words, for example, if I want in the morning, if I want a milk, then I say milk packet. I didn't know Kannada, milk packet, 10 rupees. Communication was like that. Then my observation was that after some time, maybe after 1 year or 6 months, slowly I was listening to the words. Okay, one means one do. Milk means alu. Okay. Then I started using next time. After some time, I changed the language from English to Kannada. Then I said, one half packet for read. I started learning. For example, how to use polite words. Just give, Kodi. Polite, Ivandi, Ivandi, there is a respect. So I used to ask my own colleagues who are from Karnataka, then give, Kodi. With respect, Kodiri. Okay. When I go to milk shop, then I should ask one packet with a half packet Kodiri. Completely in Kannada. Okay. So packet is there already in English. Okay, I cannot say complete. Okay. So at least, so then I I saw the change before and after using Kannada. Then I think, okay, Kavadi. The response was spontaneous. They felt belonging to our person. Even though I'm not from Karnataka, but when I started using language, they felt, oh yes. The response, the smiling, okay, came forward. Like that, so when in some situations where I'm talking about my own situation, if you are happen to stay for a long time, it is better to learn language so that you get to belonging. They feel that our person. Then you are respecting other language. Then they also respect you. This is my own experience. The thing is that you need to, what is that, change your attitude towards language. My mother tongue, yes, of course, every mother tongue is a great, every mother tongue is unique. Sometimes what happens when we talk about in the multicultural setup, in the academic setup, for example, Desha Bhashalandu Telugu Lesta. Okay. Then when there are other speakers from different languages, then they may, it depends on them how they make this statement. The point when Sri Krishna Devaraya said, Telugu Bhashalandu, Desha Bhashalandu Telugu Lesta, it means, okay, in among all the languages, Telugu having the highest or a best or something like that. So sometimes what happens, we need to see these kinds of statements in the context. So we have to respect each other's language. That is very important, I would say. And especially when you learn languages, what happens? You also learn the culture. When you understand the culture, you learn many things. With reference to the celebration of festivals, like how we celebrate here Dasara, okay, Sankranti and Ugadi. In the same way, in Karnataka also they also celebrate. But the food they prepare during the festivals, Okay, the clothes that they wear, and many things are different from region to region and from place to place. That thing also we can observe. So when you are giving respect to the language and when you are trying to understand the culture, then they also respect you. So that's one thing that I have also observed. Another thing is that when it comes to, I have just told you Vadi Vedi, Vedi Sabha Vedi only. I'm just talking about that also. When you do not give respect, what happens? Nowadays, one statement can make many things nowadays because of the technology. Simple, just take one small reel, 5 seconds or 10 seconds, just share. Okay. Through this, because of this technology, sometimes what happens, small things which can be solved between two individuals or among in a particular place, it can be spread and through technology, it can be spread across many groups and other things. Finally, it can be a big issue. So like that, we have recently. I was just going through internet and Google and trying to find out the recent issues which were in the news from Karnataka, especially. If I just take one or two examples from Karnataka. There were two women in the public place. One woman's mother tongue is Kannada, and another woman's mother tongue is Hindi. They were fighting. The argument was that in the public place you should speak Kannada. Another woman says that my mother tongue is Hindi. I should speak. Who are you to say? So this kind of argument happened. Finally, somebody took this video and they have spread this video among various sites and other things. Finally, it has reached many and people, Kannada language supporters have come forward and they also said that no, you should speak Kannada here. These things. Why I am saying this example? Because sometimes what happens, the words that you use, the way you speak, that sometimes gives negativity, sometimes it gives rise to so many issues. That's why the way you speak towards other language should be very careful. That's my point. This is one example. Another example is that there is one college, AMC Engineering College. In the hostel, the warden insisted all the students not to speak Kannada. This is another example. These are all the facts which are available on the internet. Because of this, what happened? The Kannada students started hesitation. Finally, what happened was the warden got suspended and he was removed from there. And it also went into the political areas and they also took as a Kannada and non-Kannada kind of issue. So the point is that when you are just talking about the simple reason, when you are insisting some language, okay, sometimes what happens, the problems will come. That's why I think sometimes we should not insist. Let them, okay, whatever they want, let them speak. Whatever is convenient to them, let them speak. If you say that when you give freedom to the speakers, especially in the academic setting, where the speakers from where we get the students or employees from different parts of the country, like companies, central government institute, and especially cities like Hyderabad, Delhi, metro cities, so where we can get speakers from all over the country. So in this situation, I think this kind of issues are being happening. So that's why when you are talking to somebody about other language, you have to be very careful. Even if you don't learn, that's not a problem. But you should not force others to learn the language. That is one point. Another example, the recent example that State Bank of India manager, when a customer came to the State Bank of India manager for the transaction, there was a conversation. The State Bank of India manager, in an aggressive way, he talked to the customer that no, I don't speak Kannada. See that tone during their conversation, from small thing to big thing, it happened like a big issue in the Karnataka. Finally, what happened? The SBI bank manager was transferred to some other a place that is I don't remember the place. And finally, the SBI management has given the apology. So these are the real things. When you do not know the other language, it's okay. But the way you speak to others politely, that I think that will create or that will not create any issue. That is my understanding. That is my analysis. I would say that, especially for the setups where people from different parts of the India stay together. That especially central government institutions or banks or companies. Okay, I think we have to be very careful. I would say that. And after that, another development in the Karnataka. Of course, whether it is a continuation to that or I do not know, but there is another decision. This is a policy decision by the government of Karnataka that we are implementing the two language formula, not three language formula. This is also there. Of course, I think with reference to previous discussion, we already had discussion on two language policy by what is that from Tamil Nadu and other things also.
In the other language,
Pardon me?
what is the second language?
The second language they are giving the option to they can go another languages also.
Not Hindi or Hindi.
Not English is there.
And the mother tongue.
Mother tongue.
Not Hindi.
Not Hindi. But it is not compulsory like that. But government schools is compulsory.
They are not implementing three language compulsory.
Are not implementing the language. They have decided this.
Like Tamil Nadu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. This is the recent development. And if I come to another point, I will come to the unity later, but I come to another point that is offering indigenous knowledge. How do languages offer indigenous language? There are many examples. As you know, indigenous, the local variety of this earth or this place. Okay. So every language is unique. People should understand that every language is unique. Every language has its own beauty and flavor, rhythm. For example, let us say, we can take the example of Osmania University, where Urdu, Telugu, and Hindi, and many other foreign languages also there, which are being offered here. And every language has its own flavor. If you just look at the indigenous thing here, let's look at the Ugadi festival. There is one thing. Whenever we have Ugadi festival, we have one special thing in the Ugadi festival, especially in Andhra Telangana, even Karnataka also, as per my observation. What is that? Can you tell me? Very good, excellent. Ugadi Pansari. Okay. Ugadi Pansari, how many tastes are there in that? Set. How many?
7.
Correct?
Meaning is correct. That means
Shatruchulu.
7, sir.
Okay, 7.
6, no, sir. 6 only.
Okay. Sapta, right. So here the point is, as per my understanding, even my elders will tell me, the same thing. Point is, when you at this time, okay, in this season, we are going, it is actually New Year, right? Yeah. There is one Rutu, and we are going to, yeah, we are going to another month. One Rutu to another Rutu.
Oh, year.
You know, one after 1 month. Yeah, that is there. Yes, yes, that is there. Yeah, exactly. After that, for example, we just look at the season. We just look at the season. After this, we are going to have another season. For that season, in that season, we are going to have rain. If we just have this journey, and we are also going to have that immunity from the knowledge, I don't know, but we are getting this knowledge from our forefathers, from our fathers. Fathers have got the knowledge from their forefathers. So it's a continuous knowledge sharing, right? So, for example, for Ugadi festival, if we invite people from other states, if they staying in your place, for example, if you are working in a central university or a company, just invite them and just talk about them. You just offer the chutney and talk about that importance. I would say this example. I would narrate my own example. When I was working in the Maulana Azad National University in Bangalore, that time during the Ugadi time, I took Ugadi chutney and to my colleague, and I offered to my principal and colleague, and I talked about the importance of the Ugadi festival and also chutney. Then they went, oh, this one we don't know. Actually, we have heard only Ugadi. We give holiday for Ugadi, but we don't know this one. The point is that whenever we get the opportunity, we just talk about the importance of our own culture according to the situation. That time I think they'll get the interest. And they also respect, oh, the culture, the language. Right? So I think in this way we can also what is that spread the importance of our own festivals and others. Mutually, we can also participate with them. So that's how I think we can also get the knowledge. We can also discuss. Not only this, there are many examples. I would give another example also. Sharbat. Have you heard Sharbat in Hyderabad? You all have heard, right? Sharbat. There is, I think you like the taste. What is the color of the Sharbat? Right. Earlier, even I am from the Kannur district, earlier I didn't know. After some years, I come to know. The root is from Nalamala area. Okay. The root. If you just spray, what is that, dry that root, after some time, you boil. After that, you are making that sharbat. Why? Because why are you using that root? Because it gives cool. In summer, it gives cool to your body. You understand? Where is that? It is there in a particular region. And when you're talking about that sharbat, and it is related to how it has gone. Originally, the root name is different. Which is available in the Nallamala forest. But later, it has commercialized and it has given a different name. You know only Sharbat. But inside, indigenous knowledge. So through languages, through culture, you can also understand the indigenous knowledge. That's what I would say. Another thing I would say that there are some examples. For example, during COVID season, we all have got the vaccine. We have got the vaccine. And during the winter season, during the rainy season, especially the people who are living in the forest, how are they surviving without the medication? Without using our modern medication. I remember if we just say a particularly vulnerable group, especially PVTs would say, yeah, I would complete. Okay. Now we are using paracetamol, Dolo 650 and other medicine. But we just go to our tribal community where, especially Chechu community where I have observed my own observation. There is one tree that is Palabarin peach tree. Its outer layer is crushed and given a small quantity, boiled after boiling, your quantity for 3 days. It's like morning, afternoon, night for 3 days. After that, your fever will go automatically. These are the limitations, knowledge which is available. So, like that, it is there in our state, in every state and every language, we just keep on trying. Then we will get lot of knowledge. So we can exchange our what is that medicinal values to each other. That's how I think we can get harmony in other. This is another. So that's how I would say that my point as Parvati said that the first thing I would say that we should have the willingness to learn languages if there is an opportunity. And we should not discourage or hate other languages. If we don't speak it, it's okay, no problem. I'm sorry, I do not know. It's a polite way of expressing it. That's how we can have the unity among others. Wherever possible, just talk about your own language, the culture and things, so that I think have the brotherhood, so that we can. I came to Andhra Pradesh and I met Telugu people and they gave very good food and other thing, very nice. Telugu people very nice, yeah. Simple example I will say. See, they will have a positive attitude like that. Even we go to some other place, so like that we can mutually increase the unity and other things. That's how I would say that. I would conclude. Thank you so much for giving the answer.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights.
Doubts?
If you have any doubts, you can ask.
What if necessity insists, for example, if we go to Chennai or Bangalore and some cab or auto wala insists to talk in Kannada and no, let's say how if we are being affected, how can we?
See, for example, when you are speaking in Telugu also, maximum English words are there. They will understand. Your communication initially. You can say that. Ipude vachanandi, after some time I will learn and say. They will feel very happy.
There are many incidences.
Otherwise, see, initially what happens, when students join continuously, they start learning thanks. How do you say thanks? Okay? Small words. Anna. Anna is in Kannada also. Yeah. Anna, okay, Anna. You say okay, Anna. You will feel happy. Anna is brother only. Okay? Simple answer. Okay, Anna. Yeah.
No.
Otherwise, just if you do not anything, smile. Well, good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, you've done the pancake. Presentation, state of the art. Presentation, sir. No complete presentation.
Now we have offline paper presentations. Dr. Meena C. Devashish Smart is going to share this paper presentations. Dr. Meena C. Devashish is an associate professor at the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. Her work includes research on phonetics, intonation, and discourse, focusing on English varieties in India. She collaborated with international experts like Professor William Grieve and Professor Jim Benson on projects like the Bonobo Human Research Project. Dr. Devashish has co-authored papers and chapters and conducted workshops on intonation. Her research interests span phonetics, grammar, and discourse interrelations. I would like to invite Dr. Meena C. Devashishman onto the stage. Give a big round of applause.
First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Suchir, Dr. Swati, and Dr. Paranay for inviting me. I'm in the neighboring institution across the road, and it's been ages since I came here, but it's always a pleasure to come back to Osmania University on some pretext or the other. So I'm happy to be here, and I'd also like to say one thing regarding Dr. Nagarajan. I was talking about fraternity, unity, and how it can be developed by doing the language and talking, using some basic things that to people in their own language, isn't it? Yeah. I want to tell you some humorous thing. Are you willing to listen to me for a second? One humorous thing is Dr. Nagaraju and I had let's say, we were fortunate enough to go to Shanghai last year, and he's talking about Indian languages and how we should use words and phrases from Indian languages in order to develop fraternity. You know what? Even in China, he did that. Even in China, he used some of the Chinese phrases, and he managed to get lunches and dinners for us. So thank you for that. Yeah, so I think he's very passionate about what he talked about. Can I?
Yeah, but it takes it. It takes it. That's the brief.
I'm not in this area, but I'll do my best. So I'd like to tell the participants that you will be giving about 7 to 8 minutes. And
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Panyam Sai Vinayak, research scholar, Central University of Karnataka, Department of Linguistics, co-authored by Dr. Anjaneyulu Gandapuram Sir, Faculty, Linguistics, Central University of Karnataka.
Okay.
Yeah, ఈ మొత్తం ఇక్కడ చేరేది ఇక్కడ చేసేసి మా మైండ్ ఇచ్చేసి you can sit and otherwise
So the first paper is on Telugu-centric mother tongue-based multilingual education under NEP 2020, an exploratory study within the Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar. This is by Panyan Sai Vinayak, research scholar at CUK Department of Linguistics, and Dr. Anjaneyulu Gandapuru, faculty, CUK. So would you like to start?
5-7 minutes.
So you have 7 minutes, and just you know when you have to speed up. You have 7 minutes. Would you like to start now? Yes. Yeah, start.
So, good evening, one and all. We are going to deal with the paper Telugu-centric learning. I focused particularly on Telugu because one, it's my mother tongue. Two, I want to narrow it down to Andhra and Telangana under the NEP 2020. So, it says language is for cognition. So, it basically means so my objective to present this paper is like using Telugu language as anchor language, not replacement language. NEP 4.11 clause specifies that mother tongue education is important, but like I think that it doesn't specify how to what is the inspiration or base or model how to prepare the curriculum based on the mother tongue to implement the education policy. So my focus was to design particular model of curriculum focusing on Telugu. So it's an exploratory study, as in I had this idea to design. So it's like pilot. The pilot study is also did not. Unfortunately, I did not conduct, but it's exploratory study. So basically, my idea is here again we are going to deal with the two concepts. All of you know what is home language.
yeah.
So the home language in this model plays a very important role. Why? Because when we are dealing with small children, a small request from my side, you need to interact with me because I was not able to,
Sure. Let that.
So if you the home language, yeah. So when we are going to deal with the small children, we have to teach them our home language. We have to teach them our culture. So what is happening is in modern age, this modern era, we are just giving them their phones. We are going we are habituating English to them, and suddenly they are talking in an American accent, like hello, hi, how are you? So they're talking in American accent. Their English their English is not Indian English. They're going somewhere. They're forgetting our language. So my topic or my curriculum design is yeah, the medium of instruction to children will of course be in Telugu and English, both the languages. And English language has to have the focus, secondary focus, not the primary focus. The primary focus has to be on the conceptual understanding of children until 4th or 5th class. Later on, we can slowly inject, English language into them, obviously, because Indian market demands English. So there is no like English language is also, as we are discussing yesterday, Indian English also has become family in Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar. So here my concept is like slowly injecting home language. For example, we have Panchatantra and we have folk rhymes, folk cultural stories in Telugu. So explaining them, for example, when they come to fourth or fifth class, they will have the concept called, for example, they will have the concept called photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the scientific concept they obviously will read in fourth class. So they need to learn the word. Technical terminology has to be in English. To them. Like photosynthesis has to be remembered, the word, but the concept of photosynthesis has to be explained to them in Telugu initially. Later on, we will ask them to write in English. The grammatical focus and all will be there. But in the later stages of their curriculum, for example, 6th and 7th class. And later on, in their higher education, obviously they have to focus on Indian English and how to channelize. So this was my concept design of the play. Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, would anyone like to ask any question or feel that you wanted to elaborate on something? Please, you're welcome. So would anyone like to ask a question? Yes? I'm saying do you want handheld? You want to show the slides? Okay, he wants to show the slides.
Just idea, 1-2 minutes you will look at my slide paper. Then if you have a look, then you will be able to ask doubts.
Same college
ఇందాక వచ్చింది నెక్స్ట్
No, that's just house, this slides begin. Okay, I can. Can you? So, you can see cognitive benefits of Telugu.
So Telugu is a rhythmic language. It has a agglutinative morphology and phonology, and it has the syllables of the Telugu are based on timing. So the as we know, Telugu is a musical language also. So it helps children grasp concepts in their early ages as the language acquisition device by non-competency also. We are also told that in early ages children are able to learn multiple languages. So not only focusing on English, but we also have to have focus on Telugu. Not as a replacement language, I'm saying, but it has to have like an anchor language. Anchor in the sense, the language which helps grow their knowledge or expand their knowledge or the mind.
చెప్పలే అప్పుడే
So I will.
Shall we go on to the next? What's the next? Curriculum foundational stage. Okay. you have talked about that. And curriculum preparatory stage, I think you talked about that also. And would you like to talk about the challenges?
Yes, ma'am, the challenges. The challenges, the first challenge I found here is that if we teach in Telugu, the standard Telugu textbooks have the different, let's say, Mandalism we were discussing yesterday, or the dialect. But the home language, for example, in the rural governmental schools in Telangana schools, especially the parents will have the challenge to understand those grammatical words or standardized words, or let's say standardized uh, curriculum to understand, to make them teach, and like children also will get the questions. So this is one of the challenges we face in this model also.
Regarding the implementation strategies.
Implementation strategies, again, the implementation strategies of this model is in the governmental schools, will the professional, like the teachers will also have to be professional in both the languages, Telugu and English, and the home language also, the home language of the children also might differ. For example, some children come from some different states and metropolitan cities like Hyderabad, Bharatiya, Vijayawada, and all. So it might be difficult to implement Telugu centric learning. So the mother tongue based learning, uh, like the parents also might be disconnected because uh, uh, like every parent also thinks that my child should learn English, and like he only should speak in English to me with me also. So these are the challenges implemented.
Next slide. So that's the concluding stance that you have.
Yes.
So regarding promoting equity, identity, and multilingual competence, that's what you said.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions?
Would anyone like to ask a question or
Someone is asking question, then I have a question for you.
yes, sir.
So the implementation is, as you rightly said, that when the constitution insists that primary education be in the mother tongue, but the thing is, parents are not in that. They want to send their children to the English schools. How to come out from this kind of situation? Do you find any remedies for this one?
My paper is like the constitution insists education should be in mother tongue, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying Telugu should be anchor language, not entirely dependent. Telugu should be anchor language, which means not replacement language. It's an anchor language. So the mother tongue helps along with the English, not in the fourth class, third class itself. Entirely the medium of instruction will not be Telugu. The medium of instruction will be in the both the languages, like modernized Telugu we can say, or let's say English.
Okay. So you want to these two languages by side by side.
Yes, sir. Not replacement. I said anchor language.
That's a very good clarification. Thank you.
Thanks, Panny, for this talk and telling us that it's important for children to be surrounded in their mother tongue, which gives them the confidence to face the world and to learn better. The next presenter is Siddharth Sankey, research scholar from Center for Linguistics, JNU. Plurality in Porta, describing the plural formation processes in Ramkharya, variety of Porta. 7 months.
So I'm very okay. So hello everyone. My name is Raj and I'm a research scholar and Center for Linguistics area. And my topic of my presentation today is plurality in Khota, describing the plural formation processes in Rangvaliya variety of Khota. So it's a descriptive study, and we like to describe and search for the morphemes that are present for plural formations in that variety of Khota. Since it is my mother tongue, so I am the speaker, and also I have collected data from telephonic interviews since I was not able to go. So, to begin, let's first talk about the language first. So, Khortha is a language that is primarily spoken in the eastern state of Jharkhand and in some parts of Bihar and West Bengal. It is an Eastern Indo-Aryan language and it has a population of about more than 8 million people, and it is according to Census 2011. It is also considered one of the dialects of Hindi according to Census 2011, and many other less resource languages such as Kannauji, Awadhi, Braj, all of these less resource languages are also included as a dialect of Hindi in Census 2011, and same with Khortha as well. Now, Khortha is the second largest language of the state in terms of number of speakers, and out of 24 districts, 15 of them are densely populated with Khortha speakers. Now, the state of Jharkhand, we have to discuss the state as well. Why? Because it is unique in itself. Because I consider it, and some other scholars have also considered it as a backbone in itself. What backbone means? It means a linguistic area. So we talk about India as a linguistic area, but I'm talking about Jharkhand being a mini linguistic area. Why do I say this? Because the state has languages from 3 distinct language families, namely Indo-Aryan, Austroasiatic, and Dravidian. The languages that are included in Indo-Aryan are Hindi, Khortha, Kunwali, Bangla, Bhojpuri, Maghi, Nagpuri, Udiya, Urdu, Sadri, etc. Austroasiatic languages that are spoken in the area are Mundari, Santhali, Bodo, Kadiya, etc. And the Dravidian languages that are spoken in the state, Kuruk, which is also known as Kurao, Malto, Korwa, Telugu. So, now talking about Khortha, because Khortha is an Indo-Aryan language, it is spoken by the native speakers of other communities as well, such as Santhali and Mundari. So, because Santhali and Mundari are not usually intelligible, so when they speak in their community, they use their own mother tongue, that is Santhali or Mundari. But then when they come out of their community and speak with other communities, or let's say the other people that are residing in the state, or in the area, they switch to Khortha. Now, many communities prefer Khortha as their first language. So, last 2020, when he designed a linguistic profile of Khortha, he surveyed the state and also got to know that a lot of them consider Khortha to be their primary language and not their own mother tongue. So, whenever they are asked, what is the language that you speak? They say, we speak Khortha only. They don't associate themselves outside the community sometimes when they are asked to be a Mundari speaker or a Santhali speaker or something else. And hence, Khortha acts as the lingua franca for the region. Now, because of this linguistic diversity, there exist 6 distinct varieties of Khortha that are present in the region. And all these varieties are distinct from each other. We'll see why in a bit. And because they are neighbored by different languages. What do I mean by this? In the next slide you'll get to know. These varieties seem to be distinct in terms of number of phonemes that are present in the language, the vocabulary that they use, the verb endings that they have, and structurally as well. So these are the 6 different varieties.
Mouse.
Okay, sorry.
Right click. Right. Yes.
Let's go down. Yeah. Yeah. How? Next. So yeah, sorry. So these are the 6 different varieties. I'll name those. The first one is Deshwali. It is spoken in the places within the Patratu border. So I will not name the region, but the important thing to note here is the neighboring languages. So the Deshwali variety of Kodha is neighbored by Maghi and Bhojpuri. The second one is Ramgarhia, which is spoken in the Ramgarh district, the Hyderabad district, Gokunda district, Eastern Patratu district. It is neighbored by Kurmali and Nagpur. Another variety is spoken in the northern side of Damodar River and in and around Naisarai, situated opposite to Ramgarh. Sikharia variety is spoken near the Bengal border, and that's why it is neighbored by Bengali. Santhal Pargania variety, it is also interesting to note that it is spoken in the region neighboring to Bihar, where the language spoken is Maithili. So Maithili or Angika. Now, Golwari is spoken in south of Ramgarh and it is neighbored by Kurmali language. So, my proposition and some other scholars such as last 2020 have discovered these 6 varieties. And what I mean to say is that why these 6 varieties exist and why is there any structural difference? Yes, there is structural difference. One of the difference that I would point out here, it's not related to the topic, but I would like to. So, the variety that I speak, Angka, is is full nominative accusative type of languages. What I mean by this is that this type of this variety of Ragadi does not have ambiguity at all. But if you look at the 5th variety, that is Santhal Pargania variety, which is also Sika Chibi Maithili, and it is considered a part of Angika by some scholars such as class 2030. So in this variety, I don't know from where it has come, but this variety has a system of full ambiguity. And no other language in the region has a system of ambiguity at all. Not even split ambiguity. So one of the varieties has no ambiguity at all, but the second variety has a full-fledged system of ambiguity, and it comes under the typological classification of ambiguity absolute type. So moving on. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'll run over. Yeah. So let's talk about the major Indo-Aryan languages and plural formations in them. First, we'll talk about Sanskrit. So in Sanskrit, the plural formation involves changing the nominal endings based on person, gender, and case. The number, there are 3 numbers in Sanskrit: singular, dual, and plural. Gender, there are 3: masculine, feminine, and neuter. And there are cases which are also known as vibhaktis, such as nominative, accusative, and they are 8 in number. Also, when we talk about the markings, we see that the stem ending vowel plays a crucial role in marking the plurals. In so, R ending stems would have different forms in plurals compared to R ending and E ending and U ending. Examples would be this. So, if you see, the first table is stem R in masculine, the second one is stem R in neuter, and the third is stem R in feminine. So you see that chhatra and pustakam and chhatra, we see singular, dual, and plural, but all these forms are different. And why they are different? Because of first thing, the gender, second, the stem ending. Here, I have included stem E in masculine, neuter, and feminine. Again, the same thing. And in this, you will see stem U in masculine and neuter, and again, the same thing happens. Now, let's talk about Hindi. So, in Hindi, the nominals undergo changes in order to indicate person, gender, and case, which is very similar to Sanskrit. But in Hindi, unlike Sanskrit, there are only 2
masculine and feminine, and nouns are declined differently. And how they are declined? According to the gender class, which is nominate masculine and feminine, and the second is the phonological properties of the final segment of the word. So again, you see the correlation between Sanskrit and Hindi. So here we have Ladakha, which is a R ending stem, and again we have Makan, which is not it's a ending stem. So we find differences in both of these nominals. Now, yes. So this is again E ending stem, and we find it different from the non-E ending stem in Hindi. So now the objectives of this reason. So the aim of this research was to find the plural formation rules in a variety of Kolkata, and also to find those rules in all the three forms, that is direct, oblique, and vocative. So since this language is considered a dialect of Hindi, and scholars consider this language as either a dialect of Maghili and Maithili by different scholars. The aim of the paper is to give a thorough description of the phenomena in question, that is the plural formation, and to make an attempt to study these rules, comparing it with Hindi and Urdu. So, so the plural. The plural formations in Rangadiya Kota do not follow the same rules as we see in major Indian languages. What are those things? There is only one biological gender present in the language, and there is no grammatical gender present, unlike Sanskrit and Hindi. Apart from animate nouns, no other nouns are assigned gender. So if it is biological, they will be having gender, but if they are not biological, let's say table, chair, they are not biological. We assign them grammatical gender, so it is not present in word. The plurals of nouns different. The plurals of nouns with different endings are phonologically different and can be defined phonological rules. So again, there is a similarity like Sanskrit and major Indo-Aryan languages, like the vowel that is ending. It also defines how the plural formation of that nominal will happen. So let's take some examples. So the first column we talk about R ending, the second one is E ending, and there are the rest. So in R ending, you see and here we see the omission of the last long vowel. This is consistent throughout. In E ending, we see that the long E shortens to short E, and then N is added. So and in other examples, for example, in the select, we say select well. So it's similar to the R ending. That's the difference, and I'll talk about that. So yeah. So we see, and I have emphasized that the basic plural marker in the language is when, and the morphophonics plays a very important role in these processes. We also see some variations. What are those variations? Yen, men, and when. And what does it convey? It conveys that there are these three, yen, men, and when, no more of the plural morpheme when. So now let us look at the phonological rules that can help us understand the plural formation. So I'm not a phonologist, but I have tried to make this rule very basic. I'm sorry. So they can be further defined, but I have tried to make it a little. So so the first rule is when becomes yes when the last vowel is front, close, and it is at the end of the stem. So this is the rule that depicts that phonological process, the morphophonic process. Also, we see that this rule requires us to elaborate a bit. As we see that other examples in the noun endings that have R in that, other than front vowel. So this is what when becomes again when this front close vowel is and the front close vowel is E. So whenever there is this E present, when will become yen. So this is throughout. Apart from this, there is one more thing that happens, that is E. Thus the long E becomes short. Now, yeah, let's centralize. Yes, it is throughout, but not in the long R. It does not happen in long R. But in the rest of the cases, it does. Now, If a noun that ends with any other sound apart from the frontal vowel E, then the plural of it is realized as when. But again, we have to elaborate this because when is also in some other forms with who as well, with by ending instance as well, with my ending instance as well. So we have to elaborate a little bit in this one as well. So yes. So when is the morpheme, the basic morpheme? It becomes when there is a consonant which is voiced by labial closure. Again, when becomes men when the consonant that is ending is bilabial nasal. So in terms of ma, it will become men. But yeah, and in terms of the first one, the ba, it will also become pen. So it is so there is one exception as well. When can also be used and when can also be used. When is also used and when is also used. So both are possible in which. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I have given some examples. Yeah. So
This thing, but we need to wind up.
yeah. So yeah. So this is the last thing. So this is the forms that are used in different cases, and I have devised them. I have one example with I ending and one example with E ending, and this is the. So thank you.
Thank you for that. And would anyone like to ask any questions? Regarding when, and when? Yeah.
Siddharth, it's a very good presentation. You are doing a great job. I have a observation that is there a similarity between the Konkani and this type of podcast? Even Konkani, there are so many dialects. And the writing system is also different writing. Indo-Aryan is there. Devanagari is different writing. So can we compare this to? Is there any features?
Actually, even some of my colleagues there in engineering have worked with the lesser known languages, but we have only worked with Indo-Aryan languages. So the language that we have worked on are Bhojpuri, Braj, Awadhi, Kannauji, and in all these languages, we have seen one similarity, which is distinct from Hindi. That is an. So the marker for plural in all these languages is an, or some variation of an. But we have not seen it in Konkani. We have not had the data, so it's
So someone else has to take it up. One of your students probably. Okay, thanks for the presentation. Yeah. The third presenter, presentation is by. Yeah, sorry. So, Nyani Lingaya, yeah, please come. Osmania University, so he's your scholar, you must be knowing him. Another clap for him? God. Yeah. So, it's presenting on the language and culture of the Bengali profession. Yeah, this would be interesting. I'd like to know what you have to say. So 7 minutes, please. Yeah.
అందరికీ శుభ సాయంత్రం. నా పేరు లింగయ్య, పిహెచ్డి డిగ్రీ స్కాలర్, ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ. నా టాపిక్ బేగరి వృత్తికారుల భాష మరియు సంస్కృతి. పురాణాల ప్రకారం బేగరి వృత్తి గురించి మాల చెన్నయ్య పురాణం చదువుతుంది. ఇతిహాస విషయాలకు కానీ చారిత్రక విషయాలు కానీ ఇందులో కొద్దిగా కనిపించదు. అలాగే వేటల పురాణం కూడా వీరి గురించి వివరిస్తుంది. ఈ పురాణాన్ని మాల కులానికి చెందిన పురాణ మల్లయ్య మాల మాస్టర్లు ఈ పురాణాన్ని చెప్తూ వస్తున్నారు. వీరు కరీంనగర్ జిల్లా ఎల్లారెడ్డిపేట మండలం చాకిరి వెంకటపురం వాస్తవ్యులు. బాగుమతి, తిరుపతయ్య, రాజయ్య బృందం దశాబ్దాలుగా ఈ పురాణాలను చెప్తూ జీవనం గడుపుతున్నారు. అసలు ఈ కులం అంటే ఎట్లా వచ్చేది అనేది సామాజిక శాస్త్రాలు చెప్పిన డెఫినేషన్. భారతీయ సామాజిక నిర్మితి, ప్రత్యేక సామాజిక వ్యవస్థ కులం ప్రధాన లక్షణంగా చెప్పారు. ప్రాచీన కాలం నుంచి భారతీయ సామాజిక వ్యవస్థ ఆధారంగా ఉన్న ఈ ప్రాచీన సామాజిక వ్యవస్థకు లాగి వర్ణించవచ్చు అని ఎన్సి దుబే, ఎంఎన్ శ్రీనివాస్, రావ్, లెనిన్, మారియాట్, ఆండ్రే బెవెల్లే లాంటి సామాజిక శాస్త్రవేత్తలు గ్రామీణ అధ్యాయాలలో కులానికి ఒక వ్యవస్థగా, ఒక సామాజిక సంఘంగా విశ్లేషణ చేశారు. కులం అర్థం. కులం అనే పదాన్ని ఆంగ్లంలో క్యాస్ట్ అంటారు. క్యాస్ట్ అనే పదానికి స్పానిష్ పదమైన కాస్టా అనే పదం నుండి ఉద్భవించింది. కాస్టా అనే పదానికి జాతి, వారసత్వ లక్షణాలు, సంక్లిష్టత అనే అర్థాలు ఉన్నాయి. కాస్టా అనే పదంలో లాటిన్ భాషలోని కాస్టస్ అంటే పరిశుద్ధమైన అనే అర్థం నుండి ఉద్భవించింది. 17వ శతాబ్దం వరకు భారతదేశంలో కాస్ట్ అనే పదాన్ని ఉపయోగించలేదు. భారతదేశంలో జాతి అనే పిలిచే వర్గాలను సూచించడానికి పోర్చుగీస్ వారు క్యాస్ట్ అనే పదాన్ని ఉపయోగించారు. ఆంగ్లేయులు కూడా ఈ పద్ధతినే కొనసాగించారు. దీనికి సోర్స్ సామాజిక నిర్మితి వివాదాలు, తెలుగు అకాడమిక్ 2016. బేగరి కులం జీవన విధానం ఎలా ఉంటుంది? బేగరి కులం అనేది షెడ్యూల్ కులాల్లో ఒక ఉపకులం. 2000 సెన్సెస్ అంటే 2010 జనాభా లెక్కల ప్రకారం సుప్రీంకోర్టు తీర్పు అనంతరం ఎస్సీ వర్గీకరణపై తెలంగాణ ప్రభుత్వం నియమించిన జస్టిస్ షమీం అఖ్తర్ ఏకసభ్య కమిషన్ 4 సిఫార్సులు చేసింది. వాటిలో రాష్ట్రంలోని మొత్తం 59 ఎస్సీ కులాలను 3 వర్గాలుగా 3 గ్రూపులుగా వర్గీకరణ చేయడం జరిగింది. గ్రూప్ 1లో అత్యంత వెనుకబడిన కులాలను, గ్రూప్ 2లో మధ్యస్థ లబ్ధి పొందిన కులాలను, గ్రూప్ 3లో మెరుగైన ప్రయోజనం పొందిన కులాలను చేర్చింది. ఇందులో బేగరి కులం గ్రూప్ 3లో చేరుతుంది. బేగరి లేదా బేగరి అనే మాట ఉపయోగిస్తారు. సోర్స్ ఈనాడు దినపత్రిక ఫిబ్రవరి 5, 2025. బేగరి వారి వృత్తి. వీరి ప్రధాన వృత్తి చనిపోయిన వారికి బొందలు తీయడం. దానితో పాటు వ్యవసాయం, కూలి పనులు కూడా చేస్తున్నారు. వీరికి ఒక ప్రధానంగా ఈ వృత్తి అనేది ప్రధానంగా వారసత్వంగా వచ్చింది. వీరిలో కొందరు ఈత చేపలు, గంపలు కూడా తయారు చేస్తూ జీవనం సాగిస్తున్నారు. బేగరి వారి ఆహార అలవాట్లు. వీరిలో ప్రధానంగా చాలా మంది మాంసాహారం తింటున్నారు. కొందరు ఎలాంటి మాంసాహారం ముట్టుకోరు. అంటే రోజువారీ ఆహారంలో శాకాహారం ఎక్కువ తీసుకుంటారు. మాంసం తినేవారు కోడి, ఎద్దు, మేక లాంటి వాటి మాంసం ఎక్కువ తింటారు. వీళ్ళు ఎక్కువ తింటారంటే వారానికి కోసం వాళ్ళ చుట్టుపక్కల సంతాలు జరిగినప్పుడు ఆ రోజు మాత్రమే తింటారు. తర్వాత ఇలా ఆరాధన పెద్దది ఎట్లా ఉందంటే కొందరు చర్చికి వెళ్తారు, కొందరు లింగారాధన చేస్తారు. గుడిలో పూజారిగా మాత్రం వీరు ఉన్నారు. గుడికి వెళ్ళే అలవాటు కొందరికి లేదు. వీళ్ళ పండుగ జరుపుకుంటారు. పెద్దమ్మ, పోచమ్మ, కాశమ్మ, మైసమ్మ మొదలైన గ్రామ దేవతలను మొక్కుతారు. పండుగలు జరిగినప్పుడు పిండి వంటకాలు చేసుకుంటారు. పితరామాసాలు వచ్చినప్పుడు వాళ్ళు చేసిన వంటకాలను పెద్దలకు నైవేద్యంగా పెట్టిన తర్వాత వీళ్ళు తింటారు. అంటరానితనం ఆర్థికంగా కనిపిస్తుంది. అంటే ఏమీ లేని బీదవాడు ఉంటే వాడు మాకన్నా తక్కువ ఉన్నానని ఇంటికి వెళ్తే వారికి దూరంగా ఉన్నవారు, ఇంటిగా డబ్బున్న వాళ్ళు, పలుబడిన వాళ్ళు, చదువుకున్నవారు, మంచిగా ఉన్నవారు, ఉద్యోగం చేస్తున్నారు అయితే వాళ్ళకి ఎలాంటి లేకుండా వేరే ఆహ్వానిస్తారు. పిండి వంటకాలు ప్రధానమైనవి. పోలేలు అంటే కొన్ని ఏరియాలో భక్షాలను పిలుస్తారు. వీటిలో గోధుమ పిండి, పన్నీరుతో చేసిన ఈ భక్షాలు చేస్తారు. అయితే కొందరు మైదా పిండి, చక్కెరతో కూడా భక్షాలు చేస్తారు. తర్వాత బేగరి వారు పుట్టినప్పటి నుంచి చేసే కార్యక్రమాలు ఏంటంటే పురుడు చేస్తారు. పుట్టిన 3 రోజులకు పురుడు చేస్తారు. పుట్టిన 3 రోజులకే పురుడు చేస్తారు. దాంట్లో పురుడులో ప్రత్యేకంగా ఏముందంటే
వృత్తి పదాలు ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో వృత్తి పదాల గురించి ఫోకస్.
బేగరి వృత్తి పదాల సాంకేతిక పదాలు ఎలా ఉంటాయి? దీంతో బేగరి వృత్తి పదాలతో పాటు ఈ పదాలు కొన్ని గుడక జంగాలు అనే వారి కూడా కనిపిస్తాయి. కొండ్రిగాడు అంటే కొండముచ్చు అని, జివ్వలు అంటే చేపలు అని, ముప్పిళ్ళు అంటే బియ్యం అని, చెరకోటి అంటే రొట్టె అని, జూటా అంటే అబద్ధాలు చెప్పే వాళ్ళని జూటలు అంటారు. మంకాడు అంటే గ్రామీణుడు, కింద అంటే వస్త్రం, చెర్రకోటి అంటే రొట్టె, చావడి అంటే అన్నం, సేగు అంటే వేర్లు, మత్తె అంటే ఇల్లు, తులసిగాడు అంటే ఉడత. ఇలాంటి పదాలు వీళ్ళ సాంకేతిక పదాలు మనం చెప్పొచ్చు. వీళ్ళ పారిభాషిక పదాలు అంటే బేకరీ వృత్తికారులకు ప్రత్యేకంగా కనిపించేది. చనిపోయిన వారికి అంటే చనిపోయిన వారికి కూర్చడానికి తీసేది బొంద అంటారు. తర్వాత ఈ బొంద కొలతలు ఎట్లా ఉంటాయంటే ఇట్లా పొడవు 6 లేదా 7 అడుగులు ఉంటది, అడ్డం 3 అడుగులు తీస్తారు, లోతు 7 అడుగులు తీస్తారు. తర్వాత బొందల రకాలు ఉంటాయి, చనిపోయిన తీసిన బొందం రకాలు ఉంటాయి. గుండెడి బొందం లేదా గుండెడి బొందకి నేవంతం అని కూడా అంటారు. ఇది ప్రత్యేకంగా లింగ బంజా లేదా జంగం అంటే ఏదైనా పూజారి అట్లాంటి వాళ్ళకి మాత్రమే తీస్తారు. తర్వాత జై బొంద అని ఉంటుంది, దీన్ని కూడా జగలి బొందం అని అంటారు. ఇది క్రైస్తవులకు ముస్లింలకు మాత్రమే తీస్తారు. తర్వాత ఇంకొకటి సాపు బొంద అంటే ఈ మాల మాదిగ గొల్లాపూర్ మొదల వృత్తుల వారికి ఈ సాపు బొంద అనేది తీస్తారు. కాడు అంటే కొందరు పెట్టుకొని చనిపోయిన వారికి లేదా మిగతా వాళ్ళకి వాళ్ళ ఇష్ట ప్రకారం కాల్చమంటే కలుస్తారు, కూర్చోమంటే కూర్చుస్తారు. తర్వాత వీళ్ళ దగ్గర ప్రత్యేకంగా ఒకటి గజ్జల కట్ట అని ఉంటుంది, ఒక 7 గంటలతోని వెదురు బొమ్మలతో చేసిన గజ్జల కథ ఉంటుంది. చివరికి నాకు చెప్పే విషయం ఏంటంటే మాట్లాడే భాష ఇలాంటి పదాలు చాలా వృత్తి వాళ్ళకు కనిపించకపోవచ్చు. మనం అంటే రాను జనరేషన్ నేను వీళ్ళ ఏజ్ ఒక్కొక్కరు 10 సంవత్సరాల ఏజ్ గ్యాప్తో తీసుకున్న పదాలు ఇవి. అంటే ఇప్పుడు 60 సంవత్సరాల పైబడిన ఉన్న దగ్గర ఇలాంటి పదాలు కనిపిస్తాయి. చాలా తక్కువ ఈ వృత్తి నుంచి కొంత దూరం అయిపోతున్న నుంచి ఇలాంటి పదాలు కనిపించట్లేదు. సో అవి ఆ పదాలు వాళ్ళ పదం అంతరించక ముందే మనం నోటెడ్ చేసి ఇలాంటి వృత్తి కాకుండా ఇంకా వేరే వృత్తి వాళ్ళ కూడా సేకరించి భద్రపడతారు. మంచి
of the language, Bengali language, you're talking about the systems and how it needs to be protected, because there is it might vanish as people are aging and the younger generation is not using it. That's what you have been saying. Okay. That was interesting. So you all, I hope have been paying attention to what you was talking about. So any questions, please?
కంటే వీటి డిఫరెంట్ కదా. రెండో ఒకటేనా?
రెండో ఒకటే, కాకపోతే కొన్ని జిల్లాల్లో అంటే కరీంనగర్ సౌత్ తెలంగాణ ఈ మాలో అంటే ఎస్సీలో దాంట్లోనే కొందరు మాల మాదిగా అంటారు, కొన్ని ఏరియాలో మాదిగా వాళ్ళు చేస్తున్నారు, కొన్ని ఏరియాలో మాల చేస్తున్నారు. ఈ వృత్తి
ఏ లాంగ్వేజ్ మాట్లాడుతారు?
తెలుగునే.
తెలుగులో ఈ పదాలు ఎలా
మన వృత్తి పరంగా వాళ్ళతో మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు సపోజ్ వేరే తులసిగాడు అంటే
సంకేత పదాలు. పదం ఎట్లా వచ్చింది?
You talked about someone saying blindly.
కొన్ని
Juta is Hindi. Jut bolta hai, juta. Okay, so it would be very interesting to see which language is influencing, on that we can look into that, would be really interesting.
కొన్ని అంటే ఈ కర్ణాటక పాటల్లో
కన్నడ భాష అంటే కన్నడ తెలుసున్నారు.
కన్నడ మాట్లాడతారు కానీ
I think he's still exploring, he's working on it, you're still exploring, aren't you?
So should I say thanks for allowing me to share your session? Thank you.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for chairing this session. Coming first away, ma'am had English and foreign languages. Ma'am has worked a lot on the systemic function linguistics, a very senior professor in the field of linguistics. We are very happy to come. Okay. So thank you so much, ma'am, for taking the session. We have the previous speaker also came with us, Dr. Nagaraju, to come and take up his presentation. I'm sorry, sir, we will covering things in your presentation. Kindly come to the stage. First, your presentation, then I request our HOD also to join the station. Yeah, parallelly, our panel presentations are going on. So I think another one or two over there. Sorry. Thank you for the presentation. Yeah, sorry. Interests are over, but you can. It doesn't say by. So short notice. Thank you. So I think we have come to end of the sessions. Very shortly, our online. Question getting over and they will also joining us, other judges and people who are involved there. So I request all the students to come in, whoever is outside, kindly come in, we'll start the validity session. So I request Vasaniki to the company.
Respected Professor, distinguished guests, and all present here, the today National Conference on Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar has been a wonderful journey of learning, sharing, and reflection. The sessions were not only informative but also inspiring. Each speaker added depth to our understanding. Now, I would like to invite Professor Korada Subramaniam sir, Dr. Konda Nageshwar Rao sir, Dr. Sushil Kumar sir, Dr. Balu Naik sir, and Dr. C.S. Fatima onto the dais. Give them a big round of applause. Ramesh Kumar sir and Ramesh Kumar sir, please come on to the dais. Now I would like to invite Dr. Balu Naik sir to report on Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar.
Good evening, Bharata. respected Head Sushil Kumar sir, my teacher and my guru Ramesh Kumar sir, my colleague Swati Madam, and same time Parada today keynote speaker Parada Subramanian sir, same time my friend and vice principal Kondala Nagaraj sir, respected Chandrasekhar sir and Meena Devas Madam, some data scholars and my dear students. Today, today's national conference come final stage. I will summarize the today's national conference. It is my great pleasure to say the coordinator of the today national conference on Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar. Organized by Department of Linguistics, collaboration Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti. This objective of this conference was dialogues, interdisciplinary engagement, and scholarly exchange of theme in Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar. Conference witnessed active participation from the academician, researchers, scholars, and students from various universities and institutions across the country. The inaugural remarks are given by our yesterday chief guest, C. Naresh Reddy sir, Registrar, Osmania University Vice Chancellor, and guest of honor, Professor Lingappa Gonal sir, Dean Faculty of Arts, University College of Social Science, Arts and Social Science, and keynote speaker, Professor G. Prabhakar Rao sir, also former professor and Charles University. He has given the plenary talk given by the Niladri Sekhar Das and some eminent resource person. Over to the today's session feature lectures, plenary discussion, technical session, panel discussion. Distinguished resource person delivering insightful lectures offering theoretical perspective, empirical findings, and practical insight. The technical session provide the platform for the research to present their paper, engaging in meaningful discussion, and receive valuable feedback from the experts and peers. Some of the research persons, like I will read the Professor our department, our Guru Ramesh Kumar sir, retail books department, he has given the remote and Bonda, grammar and Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar. And secondly, Tirukovila Nikhilesh, the assistant professor, Department of Literature and Language, SRM University, has given the some right. Varaprasad are also director of professor and University. Bharatiya Bhasha में विज्ञान परंपरा से आधुनिकता से Engineering also assistant professor at Department of Linguistics, Central University. Introduction to Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar, new framework in linguistics. Some of the panel discussion also chaired by the Professor Naresh Anna, Charles University of Hyderabad. Panelist is the Niladri Sekhar Das, head Language Research Unit in ISI Kolkata. Professor Arun Modi sir, Arun Modi, head Charles University of Hyderabad, and some Nogara University also Department of Anthropology University. The panel discussion, the great discussion also, panel discussion also happened. Next, some of the research persons have given the paper presentation offline and online. Online is the I think 32 online presentation is the presentation is going on in the online and offline. Offline also 12 online presentation as given by the research scholars and different scholars. Then second day program also Lakshmi Narasimha he has given the English pronunciation in the Indian English context. Renuka Devi Madam Kuda also given the Cycle Bahuguna, Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar concept and implications. Sharma integrating Indian grammatical tradition with the modern linguistic. People also language as a mother in regional and ethnic identity in India. This one are a body parts categorization in Indian languages and convergent perspective. Vandana Hidrosa, language that which not a barrier in a multilingual country, a critical understanding. And Madam also came, Madam Meenakshi Devas is also have to be changed. Some of the research scholars also presented the paper. But I hope this conference, I am first of all the organizer express the gratitude all the resource person, delegates, organizing committee, especially our research scholars, our department students,
but they have done a good job, and volunteers and supporting staff are there, dedicate efforts in making the conference a success. I hope this conference, I hope they become the overall conference successful fulfill the objective by providing a meaningful platform for knowledge sharing, research dimension, and academic network. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. Now, I would like to invite our keynote speaker, Professor Korada Subramaniam, sir, to address this session.
Namaste. Today I am asked to give the keynote address on this Bharatiya Bhasha conference. Actually, some months ago, a meeting was held at Delhi about Bharatiya Bhasha. And there we decided that we have to bring our people across the subcontinent. Okay. From the myth of saying that this is Indo-Aryan, that is Indo-Tibetan, they get dividing, etc. All the languages, Indian languages, whatever you call it, have got a common grammar. Prakriti Parichaya, etc. Mostly it follows Pandian Vyakaranam in Sanskrit. So what these people did is, they started taking away, I mean, rather generating kind of inferiority complex in the minds of the people of India. They started this so-called Aryan invasion, and the entry Aryan in Oxford Dictionary as a Sanskrit word is wrong. If you follow the Aryan grammar, it Arya it becomes. You cannot have Aryan. So now is it a Tamilian word. But what these people said, these Aryans were there in somewhere else in Europe or Russia or whatever place they have invaded India, they entered India, this thing that. So the professors of Wisconsin University visited our humanities school and started lecture. I said, from which topic you are going? Aryan invasion theory. Do you believe in that? He was about to answer dilemma. He could not say yes or no. So I said, no, not like that, something like that. In between, he was giving the answer. So now, have you visited, have you seen any books that are there in literature like Mahabhashya or Pauramimamsa and Varkosha and Sanskriti, where this Arya, Shabda, Aryavarta percentage discussed? He said no. Another clever government was with Vedic timeless. I said, if you take Purushottam, all the four Vedas are at a single point of time and place, it is clearly stated. Without which, performance of a yaga is not possible. For performing a yaga, all the four Vedas are required. Then how can you say required, etc.? Actually, Vedas are Nicha means eternal. What do you mean by eternal? So, a thing which doesn't, the tenses, past tense, present tense, and future tense is called Nicha. Or Sanatana, for example, Sanatana Dharma Saman. Again, it doesn't change. There was no change. Similar. So then I told him, no. So after 150 years, I have buried this Aryan invasion theory or AIT in my book available online. Theories of language, Oriental and Occidental. I received some response from Germany also. I know a little bit of German. So in my book, I have covered both the main book of Harald Wittler, where he said others are not to be ruled, etc. Whereas, and also, compared with Mahabharata and Patanjali, just take one thing. I asked this Aryavanta. Actually, why this concept how has come from the medicine? Panini is a Tachai, the well known. Vyakaranam was roughly grammar. He said in sixth Achaya, first Pada, Sutra, he said, Kushodaradi Yathopati. See, there are certain Shabdas, Kushodara, Jivodara, etc. Those Shabdas are not there. Analyzing by actually. Then what to do? Then, if the people we are going to describe Aryabhata, the behavior of those people, etc. If those words are employed by the people of Aryabhata, then you take them for granted. That is the meaning of this sutra. Kushodaradi yatha upadeshtam. Yatha upadeshtam. Upadeshtam. Reach. As they are given to you. You take it for granted, they are perfect. Then Mahabharata Patanjali was the author of a great work, Mahabharata. And he started discussion. Reached by whom? Then he said by Shishtas. Oh, how can you decide Shishtas? How can you say this person is a Shishta and the other is not? Then he said we decide by two factors. One is the residence, okay, and the other is the achara or way of living. Oh, then what is this? Then he said they should be living in a place called Aryabhata. So, how to identify Aryabhata? In north it is Himalayas, in south it is Vindhya, in east it is Prayaga, and in west it is Kurukshetra. The place having these four boundaries is called Aryabhata. And the people living over there have been leading a very, very difficult ascetic life, for example. What is that? How can you? The board rice, I mean, Gotham or rice, whatever you call it, that is sufficient for 4 days only. No. No question of voting thousands of kilos of this thing, that thing. Checha, that day only. Maybe some of them want to become Babas, to attract people. Question. Then he said, Alonga. No, they don't expect anything from AFS. So you can't say simply that is for Dambha. Dambha means superiority. Thinking just that I am superior to all the others. That kind of thinking, no? Later. So, Vidhanya, very limited syllabus. Okay, but being kept in the house, after that again they will put the pot outside the house and someone will fill it. Like it goes on. So, Alodbaha, no question of when you look for money or anything there. They don't have any reason to follow such a behavior. Nobody asked them, nobody demanded it. By nature. By nature, they follow such kind of way of living. And then Vidhanya, Arorupaha, Agrihimalakaha, Kasyashchit Vidyaya, Anangataha. They studied all the systems of Indian philosophy. You can ask anywhere. Just walking. Encyclopedia event. So these are called by the interface. Just strictly for whatever you say. You generally suppose if you take yoga, they say Jhanam is being trained in it. What about the other? What about the other things there? For example, Satyam is there, Ahimsa is there. What are the people think Ahimsa is not there? Shiksha is not there with all the people And many ladies, etc., cannot violence. So do you say that they are following non-violence ahimsa? No, out of question. Ahimsa, then Yava is some sort of Patanjali is ahimsa pratisthaya. Sanidho vairatyaga. How to decide? How to satisfy that particular person is? But I is because they concerned about it, and because it goes on like a Purana. Because I did not take others time. In a couple of more minutes, I am going to. Another hacker. There is a difference of opinion. It is the constitution itself. Anyway, okay, so I'm taking your money. So, I means that someone is following at least how to justify, how to prescribe. Suppose a cat and a rat, are there in his vicinity. They are not fighting with each other. And you expect in a person, a cat and a rat are not fighting each other. There are examples, a tiger and a cow, etc. Which have natural ability. If they give it to ability by the Tyaga, completely sacrificing the that is not the reason. The Sancham, how many people are following Sancham? It was okay, pay 100 rupees for a company. Some of this still, again, he goes on eating something more and more. That is Asatcham, Abadham. Badham means, okay, along with that, item, fixed. Not Badham, not fixed with the mind. That is Abadham. So, Satyam, Ahimsa, etc. And things which are not good for you, which are not positive for you are not going to do it for others. That is untranslated. Religion is not Dharma. That translated place. If you say Dharma is religion, then religion is not Dharma. So that translated place. So such thing you should not do. Vivaha is not marriage. Vivaha means Dharmeta, Adheta, Dharmeta, the Pratigya has to be that found done. Okay, but Yakaran is not there. Who said it? Yakaran is not there. Yakaran is a system which separates the perfect Shabdas. Acceptable to Yakaran. Unshabdas. Vedaha is the right. Vedaha, Vedaha, Vedaha. Vada is the perfect. Vada, Vada, Vada. There can be so many diseases. So, the very important and in Indian philosophy is that even by usage of language that is acceptable to Vyakarana, one can achieve dharma. Through dharma, one can go or may not go for artha and kama, but moksha is fine. Okay, so that is the place of language. Theatre of language. For any other Vyakarana, but Vyakarana is part of speech, figures of speech, etc., etc. Those things are not very named down. And then I have a change. You may say, speak a little English. The president arrives Sunday. You may say, the president arrives on Sunday. Indian English we have. I am saying, I am feeling good. I feel. I feel about it, I am feeling good. But if you say, I am feeling it wrong, people look at you, hey, do you English? What to do?
Coming good.
I am everybody has got his own English. In English, nobody can question it. You should not question people. One feet place is there. Even Mesri says, everybody can is not these languages. In Sanskrit is not allowed. If you speak an apashabda is a wrong word or imperfect word that is not acceptable to Vyakaranam, you will get paha. You will get your language. That is what paha is. So, okay. Yes, done. Then what happened? He went that Vyakaranam was responsible. But The Vyakarana is useful for all languages. Take this point. You take Tolkien, you take Kannada grammar, Telugu Vyakarana, whatever it is, etc. Hindi Vyakarana, any Vyakarana you take, how to construct a sentence. What is Satta, Karma, 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 there in Mathura, there was some big ashrama. Naturally, Guru will be Indian and the partners will be the students. I asked one student, take a word like cow, how many meanings are there? Then he said one. Then I shocked back. You are using the word cow to denote 5 meanings. But you don't probably talk. You are using it. Forget about it. You means not you. Everyone who is speaking English, if they apply to other languages also, that is simple. Huh? Suppose take the word cow itself. Do not delay cow. Please don't misunderstand. How is it popular? So we have taken the example. That does not mean you can go on killing or ask Mr. Gilmore to kill everything or everything. No, not that. Do not kill a cow. A cow means how many cows? A cow means all cows. Any cow. That means jati you are taking. Okay. Sanskrit, English. I am giving examples of English. Because Sanskrit is making examples becomes difficult. And also to show, exhibit that Vyakaran is applicable to all languages. So I have taken up English. You can take German, right? So then, first sentence, a cow means all the cows are Canadian. Let's say cow. Gold, how many cows you are going to bring? What does it mean by a cow? A understand? A single cow, a single cow individual. Fifty. Okay, here you said a cow means jati. Now you are saying 50. Jati or 50. So both the depending on the context will take the meaning. Actual secret. Okay, or then. Jati 50. Lenga. Cow means Srilika. So lenga is also a meaning that is being denoted by the word cow. Jati Vyakti Lenga Sankhya. Cow means one. Cows. Singular number. Okay. Jati Vyakti Lenga Sankhya. Cow is coming. He killed the cow. From cow we get the milk. But what happens is in English they are called prepositions. Isn't it? With, by, on, in, etc. Whereas in Indian languages and Sanskrit, they are called postpositions. But they are we call them. So preposition is in English, in London, English. London, in Japanese. So all the Indian languages, this is relevant to this conference, all the Indian languages have got one thing in common, that is prakriti and pratyaya, root and the suffix. And each noun denotes 5 meanings. Now you told in the English grammar in Bay of Bengal. I told that empty Madras. No, English grammar is not grammar, whatever you are learning. Start with Pali. Then you get, don't, when once you study foreign grammar, you will be having the ingredients of the techniques you will be knowing how to analyze and understand other languages. I am very much thankful to the Department of Sanskrit, Linguistics, and the great gave me a chance to sit here and share my views with all of you. Thank you very much, Shubham.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights. We now move on to one of the most awaited moments of today's program, the release of the book. May I now request our dignitaries to release the book, and the title of the book is Analysis of Syntactic Ability in Telugu Broca's Acoustics. Yes.
I am very happy to announce that Dr. Swati has authored a nice book, analysis of syntactic abilities in Telugu, propas and effects. So, that is, yeah. So, I am very happy to congratulate Dr. Swati and his academy. Please help it.
I think on this occasion, sir, we could run.
Yeah. Lots of.
I'm so sorry, it is such a heavy that we are doing this. Actually, this is my PhD work that I had done almost 10 years back. It is by grants from Telugu University that I'm able to publish this. So I'm so glad that our Telugu University has permitted me to do this in a publication. I have revised it for all the 10 years. This whatever new research has come, I have put in that set. And we have this revised the like this simple way possible. It is mostly on Telugu brokers architects. Many of you don't know what is brokers architecture. It's a language difficulty because of the brain damage. So after that disorder, how the language recovery is happening, especially with the Telugu, how the syntactic errors are processed and recovered by the patients. That is the work that I have done. So thank you so much, sir. I'm so glad it is happening on your hands. And I thank, I wanted to bring in Pagadala sir, Chandrasekhar sir here. The Telugu related process and analysis, sir has helped me to do it. So thank you so much, sir, for helping me with the Telugu data. And we are lucky that we are always supporting the department. Yeah.
Sir,
Thank you.
తాగుతూ మాట్లాడితే బాగుంటుంది ఆశిస్తాను. నేను గతంలో చెప్పాను, నేను ఇక్కడ స్టూడెంట్లు ఇంగ్లీష్ అంటే తెలుగులో సౌమ్యంగా మాట్లాడాలి. ఇంకా దాన్ని గర్వంగా మాతృభాష గర్వంగా చెప్పుకోవచ్చు చూసుకోవడానికి. నేను ఇక్కడ 1975 నుంచి 80 వరకు ఎంబీఏ చేశాను. బహుశా మీరు కొందరు పుట్టినారని అనుకుంటారు, చాలా మంది. నేను ఇక్కడ 1980 నుంచి ఎంబీఏ లింగ్విస్టిక్స్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత యూనివర్సిటీ ఆఫ్ హైదరాబాద్ లో ఎంఫిల్ చేశాను. అది తెలుగు తిరుపతి భాష శీర్షిక. దాని తర్వాత పిహెచ్డి తెలుగు తిరుపతి భాష ఆధునీకరణని చేశాను. ఆ తర్వాత తెలుగు చేరి 1985 2011లో సూపర్ రిటైర్ అయ్యాను. నాకు మాతృ సంస్థ వల్ల మాతృ శాఖ వాళ్ళు వచ్చి ఈ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ వస్తున్నాను. వీరందరూ కూడా నాకు సుశీల్ కుమార్, తర్వాత భానునారాయణ, స్వాతి మేడం, నా రమేష్ నా జూనియర్. ఇక ఇక్కడ ఎట్లా ఉందంటే పొద్దునే చెప్పాను, మా వాళ్ళని మీది ఒక సెమినార్ లాగా లేదు, పాద విద్యార్థి సమ్మేళనంగా ఉందని చెప్పాను. కాబట్టి ఇది నాకు మీరు సమస్యగా అందరికంటే గౌరవిస్తాను భావిస్తున్నాను. అందరికీ నమస్కారం చెప్తూ
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Professor Ramesh Kumar, sir, to address this session.
Senior Chandrasekhar sir said already. It's comfortable speaking to do even. I also will talk, but not speaking to you because after my the MA, I was doing research here in 82. Then I got a job in Bangalore. Professor Bial Kageti said, "Go and join." I told him, sir, I want to continue my research here because I had a fellowship there. I went back in 82 January. But he said that now it's very difficult for me to get a job in this case, so you go and join. So I joined in Telugu Academy there. 7 years I was there, so I was doing the Telugu, so I'm more comfortable. And I was working with Telugu in some way in Telugu Academy, and also part time as in the evening I used to teach a second language Telugu for the Telugu students. So in that way, I'm as more comfortable to speak Telugu if I switch over to Telugu, we should speak that. And I'm really grateful to the department to meet my colleagues here in the department and share some of my research. Yesterday I had shared the Denoponda language, which is an endangered language, which my teacher, my professor, told me to work on that language in 2015. And since then, I have been working and I had been sharing with him whatever research I was doing. But he always encouraged and they told me to continue. Okay, now coming to my the 2-3 points which I want to share with you, which yesterday I did not share with you. So the thing now, what you compare the don't understand, misunderstand me that what you are calling as socialism in this Renomonda community, they have the women plays a major role and they are given the leader, to choose because they are the main the breadwinners of the house and they will run the house. Only that they will be given the choice to select their own the partner, wife partner. So it is that's why they have full freedom to select, and if they like someone, they can go with him and stay with him, and if they both like together, they can stay, and the boy has to pay the amount of money the bride's parents. So it is that it is how we are having now. It is the other way. The woman, whoever the guy marries, he has to give money, maybe in the form of house, or it may be in the form of a body, liquor, which he has to give, so that he will be doing. And then after that, in that society, if a woman goes with the boy, the word is equal. He means equal means he means go and to give, and also we also another word is there to go. So one means a husband. Equal means going or eloping, in other words, you can say. So that kind of situation in this Demobonda community exists, and then also the what you call the woman can bring the drinks, whatever the alcohol age will get drinks, such as from various kinds of fruits available from that. The forest, such as maybe cashew, or they can also prepare the pomegranate, the bananas or mangoes. That different names are. So those fruit is the honey, and the other one is the leaf is a mango. The mango is the different. That is a copper it is very intoxicating as well. And the Other food items also are there, such as what they eat and the other food which I don't want to touch upon. But the words which are there for this event are very unique, and they represent their culture and the other things and the equality among the tribal society. That's what I wanted to share my view. And the other thing, what we have learned, my person, Mr. Pavili, Dr. Pavili is also here. When we went there, the barter system, way back in 2015, you will not believe that they used to exchange their, such as millet and other precious items for just salt. Ruby is a salt, which means the salt in Bengaluru. And Gay is the word for exchange, barter. So, Ayoni, exchange, Ayoni, Ming, Upipuro, Upipuro, Ayoni, means I exchanged the hand for the millets of Sami, is the Randi millets. So, therefore, they have this exchange. I got wondered, if they are exchanging, they will give a basket of the millets and other items, and they were exchanging with the sun. That was it was very kind of a shock for me. For sun, it is very cheap, and whereas this millets and other precious items which they are exchanging are very expensive. So I told to the boys who were there and the educated people, why you are alone? No, sir, it is very difficult to go by the market. Again, we have 20 meters. Whereas they come in a jeep and then they take this precious items and then exchange with the sun. So that sun also presenting that the rock sun, what you the crystals of in other words, crystals are that they will store in that will be it will be getting better the water becoming instead of that what they put in a leaf basket and then they have it near them. The under the oven, chula, due to that much it will not become watery or it will stand for quite long. So therefore, it was very amazing for us to see this kind of exchange of a precious item with a cheap kind of which is available. LSM amount of and the other thing what I would like to share is as most people are talking about the economic thing in this community and especially from the Konda tribes and the other tribes who are there in Odisha, in the upper Konda hills. So they were telling the red ants, which in their language they call it as out means red ant. Those red ants they were selling the market, and with those red ants they were making chutney, and they were eating. By eating that red ants chutney, it used to subside malaria. So the people subside. So this kind of economic thing they were practicing, which was very interesting for us, and it is weekly markets. These tribal people they come and sell it in the market. So that was very interesting. What we found is this economic practice among them, which we nowadays are taking the malaria practice and other things. But this community they have this knowledge of how these acts have that kind of material value is their traditional knowledge. Whereas the normal acts, the other life acts, they will not give. Only these red ants, chutney, they will make it. Legal acts also you have them. So that red ants, the chutney is very precious for them. So it will, the olden days, that knowledge they were getting transmitted. And there are other types of things they were doing as well. That I don't want to share with you. I think the kinship terminology, one of the which we have noticed as much as that I guess very interesting. And when a woman wants to take a vow, what she will do, instead of telling Amma todu,
something we will be, in Telugu, we will be taking a vote. The woman takes on her brother. So in this community, that means that the brother is given such a kind of importance, and if someone says, the woman says, my brother means, that means that she is living the good, and that is how the community respects the brother. And another important this community is, when we visited way back in 2015, at that time, the people, the woman cannot marry a person in the same village. So the people who are there in that village, they are considered their brothers. So therefore, they were not allowed to marry. They think they are their brothers, so they should not marry. So it's changing, and the people they are free, and they are marrying within the village itself. So these are the things which I want to share with you, and there are many other things I can talk about. And I think that I should not take much of your time, and that's the Professor Chandrasekhar sir is there.
చిన్న డౌట్ రెడ్ హ్యాండ్స్ అంటున్నారు కదా, అంటే అంటే ఒళ్ళు స్టేడియం వర్షం పడినది ఇక్కడ కూడా
This red times ఆకుల్ని ఒక చిన్న ఇది లాగా చేసి టోటల్ రెడ్ కొన్ని ప్రాంతాల్లో చూస్తున్నారు, ఈ ప్రాంతంలో తెలంగాణ ఏమంటారో నాకు తెలియదు. మామిడి చెట్లకు వాటిపై ఇంకా వేసి ఎక్కువగా కట్టంగా ఉంటాయి కొంచెం సైజ్, మాకు చిన్నగా
ఎక్కడ దాని కూడా తింటారు.
అది ఓన్లీ ఏరియా ప్రాంతంలో వర్షం పడినప్పుడు వాటిని ఏదైనా పెట్టి కాల్చి వాటిని వేసుకొని తింటారు. So both they eat like that. And I think this is different, that is different. These are like the ants, these are ants for English. So these they have maybe medicinal value. That's why there's service in the market. Market లో ఆకుల్లో పెట్టి అతన్ని వచ్చి అమ్ముతుంటారు. అంటే చచ్చిపోయింటారు, చచ్చిన ఎర్రచీమల్ని గుత్తిలాగా వచ్చిన కుక్కలాగా పెట్టి అమ్ముతారు. So that is very interesting, and also the medicinal value of the people also they buy it and they make chutney and eat them. So there are other expressions which are there and they which I about, but thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you for that. Yes,
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable insights. Now I would like to invite our head Department of Linguistics, Dr. K. Sushil Kumar, sir, to address this session.
देखा जाए
my mentor, and this vice principal, and coordinator and co-coordinator of this national seminar, Dr. Balu Naik, collector. All other dignitaries present here. I am delighted to be here and be the one making the validation speech at this national conference and Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar. We all know that conference or webinar attendance is the life by all academics. The connection made many academics together to share their views about the particular theme
like just concluded conference. It gives opportunity to the countries share their views in a particular field. It builds confidence in participants and helps them to learn from one another views and helps to apply such ideas to the concept of Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar in the Indian languages. We reached the end of the 2 days conference in Bharatiya Bhasha Parivar with various issues raised and discussed, including the subthemes and panel discussion on concept of Bharatiya Bhasha Parivar. These 2 days have brought together intelligent minds with torrents of information, ideas, have shared wealth of experiences and knowledge. A platform that has encourages collaboration, interconnectivity, and lasting friendship among diverse languages and cultures in Indian society. I wish to extend my sincere thanks to the organizers of this national conference for the effort they have put into making this success. For the kind of tea and some things they addressed from the amazing guest speakers and participants they have drawn from this conference this conference not have been possible. With this, I can see the Department of Linguistics, Osmania University, increasing its influence and gathering greater recognition in the country. It has been an honor to be among such a highly talented and quality audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite our special guest, Professor Konda Nageshwar Rao, sir, to address this session. Give him a big round of applause.
President of the function, the head of the department, Dr. Sushil Kumar Garu, the convener of the two-day national conference, Dr. Balu Naik, and the co-convener, Dr. C.S. Swati Garu, and chief guest of this celebratory function, Professor K. Subramanian sir, and distinguished guest of the celebratory function, Professor Ramesh Kumar sir, delegate professor of Department of Linguistics, and who has been our well-wisher for a long time. Thank you very much, sir. After a long time, I have been seeing you here. And of the days, distinguished alumni of Department of Linguistics, researchers, teachers, and scholars from various universities and Osmania University, and dear students. Yeah, these 2 days are very memorable days to all of you and all of us. As the vice principal of this college and the faculty member of the sister department, Department of English, and really we have enjoyed the sessions. And just now, Subramaniam sir has spoken, has given a lot of information about the Indian languages. Dear researchers, it is the time to understand the depth of the Indian languages. When we do not compare the Indian languages and the greatness of the country and all with the other countries, we do not go for the further research. Comparison is always makes a lot of difference. To do the comparison, the wonderful study is required. Without studying the things, comparison will not give us the results. Usually, the conferences just not the simply meeting places. The conferences makes us the places for intellectual engagement, debates, discussions, and having the new horizons of the knowledge. I'm sure the month of December, January, and February, across the country, many universities organize such conferences. But the Department of Linguistics, this year, 2025-26 academic year, twice they conduct the conference, and under the leadership of Padunai. How difficult it is to conduct a conference. I worked as a director for ASRC. Now it is OUCAB for 4 years. Later, and then I worked as the director for Ambedkar Research Center. Then I worked as director for Center for Telangana Studies. Now I am the director for Civil Service Academy. For the last 7 years, I know how difficult to conduct an event, especially when we collaborate even at national level. At least a month or a couple of months hard work has to be required. Faculty members taking the classes, doing their research works, and spending time. Yeah, Sushil Kumar sir is telling that not to do two national and one international. Again, it is deserved for again appreciation. Students, the new students, see, applause, giving applause makes us to forget the sorrow, hard work and all. Applause has that type of remedy and it is a good medicine also. From this platform, I request the young students, especially PG students and PhD scholars, try to engage yourself for a goal, for an objective. You have to engage yourself for continuous reading. If you don't read, you are missing a lot. Once you become the administrator, every day you will be busy with your work on daily basis. Mobile and answering the questions, queries, phone calls. You will be busy with many works. You do not have the time to read. You are not at all the administrator now. Still you are a research scholar and the students. So if you engage the time for reading, you will be knowing the depth of knowledge. Yes. Many people these days talking about language is different, literature is different. No. Language, literature, both are interrelated. If you want to highlight the language, literature is required. If you want to give the shape to the literature, language is required. They are the things. And English and linguistics also are same, not the different departments. Linguistics talks about the various forms of the language, where English is as a language, it talks about language and literature. Once we had a close connection with linguistics department and English department. My teacher, Professor Ravishar is here. He knows well how English department and linguistic department work together in this college. We are not different. Of course, all arts departments, language departments, we have to work together to negotiate, to debate, to answer the deliberations and to answer such challenges. If you do not engage yourself to this type of academic engagement, you will never groom yourself. You have to nurture yourself by continuous engagement with academic activity, research-oriented activity. But unfortunately, as the vice principal of this great college, I must tell you the fact, the students do not have the patience to read 3-4 pages pamphlet also. If it is a shortcut paragraph, they read. If it is 2 pages, 3 pages, read more. Once they see the read more, they never read again. If it is a short paragraph, they read. They want for very shortcut type of answers, shortcut type of messages. But after listening to the lectures, I have attended a few lectures. All lectures are very good. And you have the goal of yourself to read and understand. Students, if you do not have a goal of yourself, you will be a tool for somebody's goal. Remember, I will repeat the statement. If you don't have the goal of yourself, you will be a tool for other goals. So that use your goal. You came to Osmania University, you have got the admission here. Try to have the goal. Your goal definitely can reach your goal by continuous reading. Register's lecture in this, but I was said by Dr. Swati Madam, that lecture was so nice. See, after listening to teachers, see the difference between the students and the members on the days. One lecture is here, and you are there. The difference is maybe 10 to 20 feet, but the time is 20 years to reach from that place to this place. He has taken 20 years of time. You can imagine. It is possible to you also to sit in this place. It is possible to all of you. How? By using the productive time for more meaningful things. Unfortunately, our screen time is 8 hours. Recently, I have read in the newspaper the average screen time of the youngsters, college going and university going students, 7.5 hours average screen time. That means every day we begin our day by checking the WhatsApp and we go to the bed after checking the WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, or any other gram. See, we have to avoid this. We have to sit many hours in the library, and this is the right platform for conducting this conference. Our faculty members have taken a lot of effort. Dr. Balunai, I know his hard work. From morning he comes to the college 9:50, and he was spending a lot of time in the department, 7 spending conference. And yesterday, Dr. Sushil has brought out Osmania University Linguistics Journal. You do not know, dear students, how much hard work to bring out the book. You have seen, you have been witness to Dr. Swati Madam's book also. See, you should have your own goal, publish or perish. If you don't publish, old editions cannot go for a long time. Publish, let it be rough, let it be original, let it be copied. But first you try to have the habit of publishing. Then you think of perfection. First publish, then perfection. Try to publish. Let it be your own story, or somebody's story, or research article, or some writer. Try to have the habit of publishing. We have followed our teachers. That is why we became the students of the department here only. We studied here. Most of the teachers studied in the same college, and we became the faculty members in the same college, serving to the same departments, same college, same university. I'm sure this type of platforms will give you a lot of strength, refresh, and also new energy to introspect yourself and to have the goals. And some of you may become the professors of this department, linguistics department, English department, and many other department. I want to see all of you to become the part of our departments, our university. Thank you one and all for giving me this.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words.
సార్ గురించి ఎక్కువ టైం తీసుకొని, ఎందుకంటే నాకు తెలుసు కదా, నేను కూడా అక్కడనే సార్. ఏం లేదు, నేను విషయం చెప్పి నాకు సార్ పెన్ స్టేషన్ ఒకసారి ఇంగ్లీష్ లో మాట్లాడిన కదా, తెలుగులో మాట్లాడాను. ఇందాక రమేష్ కుమార్ గారు సార్ పక్క పడ్డది, పక్క చిక్కాలేంది అన్నారు. పక్క చిక్కిన సింహం సార్ అని చెప్పి ఈ ముందు అనడం అదేదో మన డైలాగ్ కోసం కాదు. సార్ స్టూడెంట్, నేను నన్ను చెక్కింది సారే. చెక్కిందంటే అదేదో కాదు, జ్ఞాన శనార్థతో నన్ను తీర్చిదిద్దాను. సార్ దగ్గర ఉన్నటువంటి గొప్ప విషయం ఏంటంటే, 6 నెలలు మనం కష్టపడి చదివేది ఆయన ఒక వారంలో చెప్పగలరు. అసలైనటువంటి గొప్ప టీచర్ సార్. నేను పాననీయం ఏదో పెద్దగా చదువుకోలేదు, ఇది అంటే అవసరం లేదా, వాక్య గురించి మొదలు పెడతా అంటారు. అది ఎవరు చేసే ధైర్యం కాదు. ఎందుకంటే పదవాక్య ప్రమాణ శాస్త్రాలను మనం అనుకున్నాం కదా, అవన్నిటితో పాటు 5 ఏళ్ల వయసులో అమర కోసం మొత్తం నోటిపోతుంది సార్కి. అంటే 5 ఏళ్లలో నోరు తిరగనటువంటి సమయంలో అమర కోసం అంటే సంస్కృత డిక్షనరీ ఆయన నోట్లో ఉందంటే ఒకసారి ఆలోచించండి, ఆయన మేధస్ ఏంటో. అటువంటి ఆయన చెప్తూ ఉండేది ఏంటి అంటే, మధ్యరాత్రి వాళ్ళ నాన్నగారు 2:30కు మేలుకు వస్తే సార్కి లేపేదట. లేపి ఒక సూత్రం అదేదో బల్ల వెంకి పడుకోపోండి పడుకున్నాడు. ఆ ట్రైనింగ్ అంటే ఆయన పాలిగ్లాట్. ఆయనకు జర్మన్ భాష వచ్చు, సంస్కృతం అనర్గళం, తెలుగు ఉభయ భాష ప్రవీణ, హిందీ చాలా బాగా మాట్లాడతారు. అసలు
నార్త్ వాళ్ళు ఏ రకంగా అయితే మాట్లాడారు, శుద్ధ హిందీ అంటారు, అది మాట్లాడతారు. కొన్ని భాషలు ఆయన అప్రయత్నంగానే ఆయనకు అర్థమవుతూ ఉంటాయి. కాబట్టి ఇదంతా ఏమిటి అంటే ఆయన చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి చేసినటువంటి సాధన. వెనకడ మనం తపస్సు అనేది, ఇప్పుడు సాధన అంటే తప్ప ఇంకోటి. ఒక టీచర్ గా ఆయన నాకు అప్పుడు చెప్పిన ఇప్పటికీ ప్రయత్నం గుర్తుకుంటాను. నేను పెద్దగా చదవాల్సిన అవసరం రాలేదు, ఎందుకంటే ఇన్ని ఆయన చెప్తూ ఉంటే నాకు వచ్చినాయి రోజు. ఆయన 2 విషయాలు బాగా చెప్పారు. సుడవాయ శర్మ నువ్వు ఎప్పుడన్నా టీచర్ అయినప్పుడు స్టూడెంట్స్ ఇబ్బంది పెట్టొద్దాయి. రోజుగా 90% అటెండెన్స్ ఇవన్నీ ఉండదు, నువ్వు చెప్పాలి. నాకు తెలుసు ఇట్లాంటి వాటికి కానీ ఇది వినాలి. దాని తర్వాత విషయం ఏంటి, వాడు నిజంగా ప్రయోజకుడు అయితే మనం చెప్పవలసిన అవసరం లేదు, వాడే వచ్చుతాడు. వాడి నిజంగా మనం బలవంతంగా వాళ్ళని పిలిచి మనకి చెప్పినా కూడా వాళ్ళకి అర్థం కాదనుకో, ఈ 90% అటెండెన్స్ మాత్రం ఏం లాభం. కాబట్టి అదొకటి. 2, ఎప్పుడైనా నువ్వు టీచర్ అయినప్పుడు ఏంటంటే బాగా ఇప్పుడు మంచి మెరిట్ ఉన్నటువంటి స్టూడెంట్ తీసుకొని వాళ్ళని తయారు చేస్తా, అది వద్దు. వీకెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది వీక్ ఎవరికైనా 1% పైకి. ఇవన్నీ ఏంటి అంటే ఒక టీచర్ గా ఒక రీసెర్చ్ స్కాలర్ కి చెప్పడము, తయారు చేయడము, ఆ దృక్పథంలో మనం ముందుకు వెళ్ళడం. ఈ రోజు ఈ ఇంటిగ్రేటింగ్ ఇండియన్ గ్రామటికల్ ట్రెడిషన్, మోడర్న్ లింగ్విస్టిక్స్ అంటే మోడర్న్ లింగ్విస్టిక్స్ ఒకటి అయ్యేది కాదు. అవన్నీ చెప్పారు కాబట్టి వాటితో ఈ రెండింటిని ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేసి ట్రైబల్ లాంగ్వేజెస్ వీటి మీద వర్క్ చేసే అవకాశం ఉంది. ఎందుకంటే ఇటు అటు 2 కూడా చదువుకోగలిగింది. కాబట్టి అటువంటి గురువు దొరకడం నిజంగా నా అదృష్టము. నాటువంటి శిష్యులు దొరకడం చాలా మంచి స్టూడెంట్ దొరకలేదు. ఈ 2 మాటలతోటి ధన్యవాదాలు. స్వాతి మీద ఏమన్నానంటే ది మోస్ట్ సింప్లెస్ట్ వే నేను చేసిన సింపుల్ వే, ది మోస్ట్ హంబుల్ వే ఆమె చేసింది. అది పుట్టినారు ఇంతమంది, ముఖ్యంగా సార్లు చదువుకున్న వాళ్ళ ముందు ఉంటే అది హంబుల్ వే. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
సుబ్రహ్మణ్యం సార్, చాలా థ్యాంక్ యూ. మీ గురువు గారు గురించి తను మీరు చెప్పినా చెప్పకుండా యూట్యూబ్ లో అన్నింటిలో తన గురించిన స్మరణి ఇది యూట్యూబ్ లో లింక్స్ అవన్నీ ఉన్నాయి. అయితే మీరందరూ ఇక్కడ తెలుసుకోవాల్సింది ఏంటంటే సార్ పక్క చిన్న పిల్లలు అంటే కొంచెం అకాడమిక్స్ రైటింగ్స్ కానీ తగ్గి ఉండొచ్చు, కానీ నిజంగా సింహం పూలు అయితే మనం ఇక్కడ ఉండలేదు. కాబట్టి మీరు అట్లా అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి. అకాడమిక్స్ లో
ఎవరైనా జరిగిన కాన్ఫరెన్స్ గురించి ఒపీనియన్స్ ఉంటే ఒక్కొక్క నిమిషంలో ఒక స్టేట్ ఇస్తే బాగుంటుంది. ఏమైనా లోటుపాట్లు ఉన్నా కూడా నెక్స్ట్ టైం రెక్టిఫై చేసుకోవడానికి ఉంటాను. నిజంగా నేను చాలా ప్రౌడ్ గా ఎన్ని కాన్ఫరెన్స్ అయినా చేయొచ్చు, ఎందుకంటే మా స్టూడెంట్ చూసిన తర్వాత నాకు అర్థమైంది మీ డెడికేషన్. ఎందుకంటే కాన్ఫరెన్స్ చేయాలి అంటే నిజంగా మీరు చాలా మేనేజ్మెంట్ ఒక గ్రేట్ గా వర్క్ చేయాలి, రెగ్యులర్ గా. కానీ మా లింగ్విస్టిక్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ వీళ్ళ ఇంతమంది ఒక్కరు కూడా మాకు అవకాశం లేదు. మీరు ఇక్కడ వాళ్ళంతా కూడా మా డిపార్ట్మెంట్ స్టూడెంట్స్, రీసెర్చ్ స్కాలర్స్ అంతా చేయలేదు. అంతకుముందు లాస్ట్ సెమినార్ అప్పుడు ప్రిన్సిపల్ సార్ చేయలేకపోతే అంటే ఒక 10-12 మంది వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత మేము కాన్ఫరెన్స్ పెట్టి 10-12 మంది టీచర్లు ఉండడం ఏంది. ఈ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ ముఖ్యంగా మా స్టూడెంట్స్ కోసం చేస్తున్నాం కదా, మా స్టూడెంట్స్ లేకపోవడం అనేది కొంచెం నాకు చాలా ఫీల్ అనిపించింది. మరి ఈ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ ఎవరి కోసం చేయాలి, ఎందుకు చేయాలి? కాన్ఫరెన్స్ యొక్క కాన్ఫరెన్స్ కావచ్చు, వర్క్ షాప్ కావచ్చు, సెమినార్ కావచ్చు, ముఖ్య ఉద్దేశం ఏంటి? మనం రెగ్యులర్ గా క్లాస్ లో రెగ్యులర్ గా చేస్తాం. ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చిన స్పీకర్స్ చాలా గ్రేట్ స్పీకర్స్, వాళ్ళ యొక్క వ్యూస్ కావచ్చు, వాళ్ళ యొక్క ఆలోచన కావచ్చు, వాళ్ళు షేర్ చేయడం వల్ల నేర్చుకోవాలి. క్లాస్ వర్క్ ఏంటి అంటే ఆ బుక్ లో ఉన్నది, సిలబస్ లో ఉన్నది అదే చెప్తాం. మోర్ దెన్ మనం ఎప్పుడు ఎక్కడ నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఏ క్లాస్ అయినా చూడండి, 10th నుండి ఇంటర్ నుండి డిగ్రీ నుండి పీజీ ఉంది. మనకు సార్ నాకు ఏం కావాలి, ఎగ్జామ్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో మాకు పాస్ మార్క్స్ ఉంటే అవే కావాలి. ఇంకా బాగా కావాలి అనుకుంటే 10th లో ఇంటర్మీడియట్ వచ్చేసరికి ఎంసెట్ బాగా చదవాలి అంటే 9 ఐపీలో వచ్చిన మార్క్ కాదు ఇంపార్టెంట్, ఎంసెట్ కావాలి అంటే ఇంకా 10th లో చదవాలి. డిగ్రీ కూడా ఎంట్రన్స్ రాసిన మార్కులు దాని గురించి డీప్ నాలెడ్జ్ గురించి నేర్చుకుంటాం. కానీ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ సెమినార్ దిగిన తర్వాత మనం ఏం నేర్చుకోవాలి అంటే ఇంత గొప్ప మేధావులు చాలా ఎంతమంది టీచర్స్, ఎంతమంది ఫ్యామిలీస్, ఎంత డిస్కషన్ జరిగింది అది నేర్చుకోవాలి. కాంపిటేటివ్ థీమ్ కూడా అదే, కాంపిటేటివ్ కావచ్చు, వర్క్ కావచ్చు, సెమినార్ కావచ్చు. దాని యొక్క ముఖ్య ఉద్దేశం కూడా మా స్టూడెంట్స్ కి లింగ్విస్టిక్స్ పరంగా మంచి నాలెడ్జ్ ఇవ్వాలి. కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ చేయాలి, ఏదో అన్నం పెట్టాలి, 2 రోజులు భోజనం పెట్టాలి, బిర్యానీ పెట్టాలి, చాయ్ ఇవ్వాలి. అది రెగ్యులర్ మీరు తినట్లేదా? ఇంతకంటే రెగ్యులర్ మంచిది తిరిగింది నిజమా కాదా? నేను చెప్పేది నిజం. ఇంతకంటే మంచిది, ఇంతకంటే బాగా మీకు హాస్టల్లో కూడా ఇంతకంటే బాగా పెడతారు. కానీ మన ఉద్దేశం అది కాదు. మన హాస్టల్లో మీరు ఈ 2 రోజులు కలిగిన కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఆధారంగా మీరు నాలెడ్జ్ నేర్చుకోవాలి. వారు చెప్పిన పెద్దలు వారి యొక్క గ్రేట్ నాలెడ్జ్ చేసి నేర్చుకోవాలి. మీరు నేర్చుకోవాలని అనుకున్నారు. ఏమైనా లోటుపాటు ఉంటే మా స్టూడెంట్స్ నుండి నాకు ఎందుకంటే చెప్పినా చేయడం అంటే చాలా ఈజీ అనిపించింది. ఎందుకంటే మా స్టూడెంట్స్ వాళ్ళ యొక్క గ్రేట్ చెప్తారు. నేను ఏం చేయలేదండి. మా స్టూడెంట్ ముఖ్యంగా వాళ్ళని కాబట్టి మా వికల్పాలను మా భార్య నేను జీరో కొడాలని చెప్పినప్పటికీ కూడా నిజంగా నాకు చెప్పక తప్పదు. ఎందుకంటే నాకు ఈజీ వర్క్ అయిపోయింది. మా స్టాఫ్, మా టీచింగ్ స్టాఫ్ కావచ్చు, టీచింగ్ స్టాఫ్ కావచ్చు, మేమంతా కోఆర్డినేట్ చేసినప్పటికీ కూడా క్రెడిట్ కోర్స్ ఓన్లీ అవుట్ స్టూడెంట్స్. మీరు ఉండకపోతే మీరు లేకుంటే నేను ఎన్ని చేసినా డబ్బు ఖర్చు పెట్టవచ్చు. 10 లక్షలు కాదు, 20 లక్షలు ఖర్చు పెట్టినా మీరు లేకుంటే 20 లక్షలు ఖర్చు పెడితే ఏం లాభం? అంతే కదా. ఇప్పుడు ఈ 5:30 అయినా కూడా మీరు ఇక్కడ దాకా ఉన్నారు అంటే మీకు ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉన్నదని నాకు అర్థమైతే ఎవరైనా తీసుకోవట్లేదు. థ్యాంక్ యూ. నిజంగా మేము నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకా ఎన్ని సెమినార్ అయినా కాన్ఫిడెంట్ కండక్ట్ చేయగలుగుతారు. ఇంత సపోర్ట్ ఉంది కాబట్టి ఎవరైనా మీ నుండి 1 మినిట్ ఎవరైనా చేంజ్ చేస్తామంటే గిఫ్ట్ చాలా హ్యాపీ.
గురుగారు చాలాసేపు కాలు ఇబ్బంది పెడుతుంది. మన కోసం ఉన్నది కాబట్టి వాళ్ళని ఇబ్బంది పెట్టకుండా చెప్పేసి.
అందరికీ నమస్కారం. నేను డాక్టర్ సిలుపాడి, అసోసియేట్ ప్రొఫెసర్ ఇన్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ యూనివర్సిటీ కాలేజ్ ఆఫ్ సైన్స్, ఉస్మానియా యూనివర్సిటీ. సో లింగ్విస్టిక్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఫ్యాకల్టీ మెంబర్స్ కి అందరికి పేరు పేరున కంగ్రాచులేషన్ చెప్తూ చాలా బాగా చేశారు ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో. ఎస్పెషల్లీ మా బాలు నాయక్ వాళ్ళ బ్యాచ్ నేను 2013 వన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఆయన బెస్ట్ ఫ్రెండ్ నేను సైన్స్ కాలేజ్ నుండి. సో ఆయనకు ఎంతో మంది స్టూడెంట్స్ అంటే అభిమానం అంటే తప్పు, కానీ ఎంత మంచి స్టూడెంట్స్ అనుకున్నారో నాకు ద్వారా అర్థమవుతుంది. చాలా మంచి మనిషి. అలాగే కొండ అన్న గారికి, మేడం గారికి, మీ అందరికి నమస్కరిస్తూ చాలా సక్సెస్ఫుల్ గా ప్రెజెంట్ చేశారు. సో ఈ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ చాలా ఫస్ట్ టైం బాగా చేయడం వలన నేను పర్సనల్ గా వచ్చి కంగ్రాచులేషన్ చెప్పాలని నేను వచ్చిన. సో ఈ అవకాశం వచ్చిన ఇచ్చిన మీ లింగ్విస్టిక్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ వాళ్ళందరికీ పేరు పేరున నమస్కరిస్తూ థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. చాలా బాగా చెప్పారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
అందరికీ శుభ సాయంత్రం. నేను డాక్టర్ గోవింద్ జాదవ్, సెంట్రల్ ఆఫ్ కమ్యూనిటీ ప్రొఫెసర్. ఈ 2000 సెమినార్కి నేను వచ్చాను. ఎందుకంటే నా మిత్రుడు ప్రొఫెసర్ బాలనాయక్ సార్ గారు పిలువని నేను వచ్చాను. ఎందుకంటే ఇంతకు ముందే కూడా ప్లాన్ చేసాం, ఇద్దరం వచ్చినాము, కూర్చున్నాం చాలాసార్లు ప్లాన్ చేస్తా ఉన్నాడు. ఓకే ప్రొఫెసర్ గైడ్ అన్నాము. ఎందుకంటే సుశీల్ మేడం, స్వాతి మేడం అందరూ దగ్గర వాళ్ళు కాబట్టి ఎలాగో సక్సెస్ అయితే అనుకున్నాం. కాకపోతే అప్రిషియేట్ వాళ్ళు రీసెర్చ్ కావాలి స్టూడెంట్స్. ఎందుకంటే నేను చెప్పేది నా స్టూడెంట్స్ చాలా బాగున్నారు. నాకు ఓడి పంపించారంటే ఇంత సెకండ్ లో పంపించాడు. నేను మాట్లాడుతున్న స్టూడెంట్ పేజ్ చేసేసాడు. చాలా సంతోషం అనిపించింది. ఎందుకంటే ఇలాంటి స్టూడెంట్స్ ఉండాలి. ఉన్నప్పుడే మనం ఏదైనా చేయగలుగుతాం. ఎప్పుడు ఏదైనా చూస్తున్నాను అంటే ఎంత బాగా చేశారంటే అప్రిషియేట్ టీమ్ మెంబర్స్ ఉంటారు. వాళ్ళంటే సపోర్ట్ కూడా ఉండాలి. ఎందుకంటే చేయాలంటే సపోర్ట్ కాబట్టి సపోర్ట్ మంచి సపోర్ట్ ఉంది. ఇంకోటి చూస్తున్నాం ఈ అమ్మాయి ఎందుకంటే చాలా బాగా చేస్తుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ రిసెర్చ్ చేయాలి. ఎందుకంటే సెషన్ వైపు మేము డివైడ్ చేస్తాం, మనం ఇస్తాం. కానీ 2 days నుంచి చూస్తున్నా అమ్మాయి చాలా బాగా ఇంక్రీజ్ చేసింది. ఐ కంగ్రాచులేట్ బాబు సార్. ఈ అవకాశం Thanks, sir. Now I request our dignitaries to illustrate our guests and our keynote speaker, please.
సార్ మరి మీకు ఈ టైం వరకు ఎందుకంటే మా స్టూడెంట్ బట్టి బేసిక్స్ అదే సార్ మీరు చేస్తే బాగుంటుంది. లేదు మా గురువు గారు మీరు అందరు మాకు అందరికీ గురువు సార్ ఇక్కడ ఉన్నామంటే మా గురువు మీరు కదా ఎందుకంటే ఎందుకంటే మాకు అందరికి ఇచ్చారు కదా సార్. చాలా ధన్యవాదాలు. మీకు ఇబ్బంది పెట్టా యాక్చువల్ గా మీరు అందరికీ బాగా చెప్పారు మీరు ఇక్కడ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్స్ లో బాగా ఎంతమంది వాళ్ళకి ఇచ్చేది సార్ ఫోన్ చేసాం ఫోన్ చేసాం సర్టిఫికేట్స్ వాళ్ళు ఎవరు ప్రజెంట్ అండ్ ఎవరు వాళ్ళు ఫస్ట్ రిసోర్స్ వస్తారు. లేదు సర్టిఫికెట్స్
Now, Professor Ramesh Kumar said to issue certificate for the venue presenters. Now I request Pandev Sai Vinayak to come onto the stage to receive the certificate. Sai Vinayak. Professor Ramesh Kumar said to issue the certificate.
Congratulations.
Now I request Professor Konda Nageshwar sir to issue the certificate. Siddharth Sanket to receive the certificate. Give him a big round of applause. Now I request Gandhi Linaya, research scholar, to receive the certificate on history.
Our friend మన డిపార్ట్మెంట్ మన డిపార్ట్మెంట్ స్టూడెంట్స్ కి రిజల్ట్ కావాల్సి కావచ్చు పార్టిసిపేట్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ మన డిపార్ట్మెంట్ లో ఘనంగా మనం రేపే ఇచ్చుకుందాం. ఇప్పుడు ఇంతమంది ఘనంగా టైం పడుతుంది ఇప్పుడు ఏం ఇదే కార్యక్రమం బయట వచ్చిన మాత్రం విచేద్దాం. మన స్టూడెంట్స్ మాత్రం నేను కంపల్సరిగా మన డిపార్ట్మెంట్ లో టీచర్స్ చెప్పాను కదా పాటించాలి తర్వాత ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కార్యక్రమానికి టూర్ తీసుకొని పోతారు.
Thank you, sir. As we are finishing the program, to formally conclude with due respect, I would like to invite our esteemed Professor Dr. C.S. Swati ma'am to deliver the vote of thanks. You have to figure out the problem.
So I have to deliver a formal book of time. It is really wonderful to have you all here. First of all, I would like to thank Bharatiya Bhasha Committee, Government of India for giving us this permission. And I am happy to inform that we have got 2 times permission. In a row, we have both the programs done. We thank all the chief guests of both the programs, whether the session and the inaugural session. All our guests, all our special invitees. All of them have taken the time and they have attended this program. We really thank all of them for coming. We also thank today's keynote speaker, Professor Garu. Sir has so much experience and in such a nutshell, telling about the Indian knowledge system is really great. We thank our senior professor Ramesh Kumar sir. Sir, your knowledge and your sharing also, we are very thankful to you for attending this program 2 full days and being with us, supporting the department. We always look forward for you for guiding. Thank you for joining us, sir. We also thank other senior professors like Professor Pagdala Chandrasekhar sir, Dr. Meena Dibashish, and other senior professors who have supported this program and made this a grand success. So as Dr. Balu was saying, this program would have not been possible without the support of our research scholars, students, and teaching, non-teaching, all the people who have contributed for this. Thank you all for all the support that you have given. We also thank all the paper presenters who have given their wonderful presentations in this seminar. And some of them have also delivered their presentations online. So on the whole, I think we had more than 80 presentations that have come through. And even registration, as I was checking, we had 142 registrations for this program. And so almost 160 registration. Really, we have very good response for this. So, and the last but not the least, we could release 3 books in this conference, in this program. So, we have released the Bharatiya Bhasha Pariwar book, then OPIL 50th volume, and analysis of syntactic abilities, Telugu Brokers Affairs, small book. And I am proud to say that it was under the leadership of my department faculty, Professor Usha Rani Madam, that I had done this work, my PhD work. So once again, thanks all to all the committees. We are seeing that some of the students, they were very active and some were little learning. So it's okay. All of you have done a good job. So we also thank the press media. So today we had the